Hey guys. Here is part 6 of What If Naruto Had His Memory Sealed. Hit like and subscribe if you like this one, and also please check the author in the description. Let's start.
We are paid, that's all. We are God.
Chapter 34, Allergic to Life. After the little conflict with Kakuzu and Hiden had been settled, Jiraiya had made sure that Naruto had gotten treatment back in Kumagakure for his more nagging injuries and wounds suffered from the prolonged battle. For the physical price he paid keeping Yujito out of Akatsuki's clutches, a stay in the hospital was the least that could be allowed for him. Speaking of Yujito, surprisingly after the battle was complete, the worst damage she suffered was the injury through her hands that had been inflicted at the start. She didn't suffer any permanent nerve damage, but it was advised that she refrain from training until further notice to keep from re-injuring herself. During Naruto's hospital stay, Jiraiya took to trying to examine Naruto's sword, and failed miserably as it did not let Jiraiya lay a finger on it without cutting into his hands with wind chakra, which piqued his interest as that was Naruto's main element type. However, from what he had seen of the sword, Naruto, who had finished his wind element training, never channeled chakra through the blade. And then it had that second form that simply augmented his abilities, but from what he had gleaned from Naruto it drained him heavily. Naruto was strong. This was always evident to Jiraiya. Back when he took Naruto with him to retrieve Tsunade, it was clear that anyone short of the absolute best in the world would have a horrible day if they had decided to tangle with Naruto. But now Jiraiya wasn't sure if he could put Naruto down without having to resort to his absolute best, although any stirring from the Kyuubi, and he could always slap a suppression seal on Naruto. But getting it on him was an entirely different matter altogether. He and Tsunade needed to have a conversation on his growth once he got the kid healed up and dragged him back to Konoha. In the meantime, he was getting his kicks off of watching the nursing staff in Kumo's hospital keep Naruto in place. Apparently with a Jinchuriki like Kurabi, they got used to him trying to break out before he was released early on in his life and had way more experience dealing with a rowdy, powerful demon container. No leniency was given, even stepping out of bed set off an alert for trained orderlies to put him right back, forcefully. And if that wasn't enough, the head doctor was a woman with a glare that could freeze lava on point. Yes, after the first day Naruto was a good boy. The company didn't hurt either, however. Kumagakure no Sato Kumo Hospital. Naruto sat, seething to himself in his bed. I never thought I would find something I hate more than Konoha's hospital, but now I think Kumo's is pushing it firmly out of the way for sure. Yujito rolled her eyes from a nearby chair. Oh, get over it, Naruto-kun, they'll let you out when they think you're good and ready. I am good and ready. I was ready the day after I was admitted, and now it's been 3 days. They're just now letting me bathe myself. He nearly whined to her. Hospitals are for the dead and dying. I am either, so they should let me go. He ran a hand through his hair. I can't believe mugging that orderly and transforming into him didn't get me out. I thought that would work for sure. Yujito didn't miss a beat. Kurabi tried that 6 years ago. Naruto sighed. Of course he did. He then lightly glared at her, noticing that she was dressed in her own clothing. How come they let you go? Yujito grinned cheekily at him. All I had besides the busted ribs were a few burns and my messed up hands. Yujito lifted her heavily bandaged palms and waved them at Naruto showingly. You had all kinds of torn muscles in your legs and arms. How did you even tear the muscles anyway? Naruto glowered. The bastard sword I carry with me. He let off a scowl as his heirloom blade. That thing is more trouble than it's worth sometimes. How am I supposed to train with it when it rips my body apart just using it? Oh, just toughen up, you big baby, Yujito said, popping him lightly on the arm. We just beat the Akatsuki, and here you are complaining about your sword. Prioritize, Naruto-kun, just relax. Getting all stressed out will do you no good. Yeah, no good, Naruto replied. No good like your bum hands, he said, grabbing her wrists and waving her arms around as if she were a marionette before she realized what he was doing and narrowed her eyes at him. What do you think you're doing, Scarface? She growled out at him. Getting beat up by orderlies and your sensei isn't enough? You want me to stomp you too? Naruto smiled at her disarmingly. I'm bored. I haven't seen anything but white walls for days, and I'm well enough to leave. Since I can't leave, I'll have to have you keep me company, Yudi-chan, my lovely entertainment. Yujito smirked at him. Your entertainment, am I? And lovely, you say? Naruto shrugged, still holding onto her wrists. It is what it is. Yujito moved her chair closer to Naruto and inched her face closer to his. And what makes you think I'm here to entertain you? Maybe I'm here for my own fun. Naruto gave her a dry look in response and then looked at his hospital gown-clad form. I don't really see what would be so entertaining about me right now. Yujito's eyes went along his form. You wouldn't, would you, Mr. Paper Thin Gown? She placed her mouth near his ear. It's a shame we weren't in the same room while I was in mine. She pulled away from him once she felt him let go of her wrists, and laughed at the incredulous look on his face. I just had to get you back for all of the stupid things you said in the cave. Don't be mad, Naruto-kun. Naruto's face went back to normal once he heard the laughter from Yujito. That wasn't fair, Yugi-chan. I thought you were serious, especially after your little kiss right before we fought Hidan and Kakuzu. Speaking of that, Yujito trailed off. Why did you do it? Why did you fight for me against them? You could have just let them take me, they weren't here for you. You would be fine right now. Naruto gave her a long hard look. Because we're friends, Yugi-chan. He set his head back on his pillows and looked at her from his side view. I would protect you just as much as I would anyone else that was close to me and needed my help. Yujito frowned. Fighting when you didn't need to against such dangerous people and losing would have crippled your village's military presence. There wasn't any reason to do this. Yujito stopped talking when a pillow smacked into her face. Naruto's arm was still extended from the throw. I just gave you the reason. Being one of my precious people means I'll fight for you when I have to, because it's the right thing to do. It doesn't hurt that I had to face off with them eventually anyway, but I needed to make sure you weren't caught. It's just that simple. The entire reason me and Ero-Senin even came here in the first place was to try and set up an alliance against Akatsuki's workings, so the reason I came here was more or less to protect you, I guess you could say, heh? He finished with a laugh. Yujito looked at him long and hard with an expressionless face, trying to ascertain any sign of falsehood in his body language after what he had just said. She finally sighed and stood up, hovering next to Naruto's bed and looking at him as he simply stared back at her equally impassively. I told those idiots that you did it just because you were a sweetie, she said as a smile slowly worked its way to her face once more. Yeah, Naruto said. I'm your hero and all of that crap. How could I just let you go and get killed like that without trying to stop it, Yugi-chan? He then felt Yujito lean over him and give him a short kiss on the lips. What was that for? Yujito stayed close to his face. That was for all of the effort it took to get me back from them in the first place. She kissed him again. That was for fighting them as hard as you did for me. She then placed one final, very long kiss on him that she had to somewhat climb onto his bed / him to prolong before breaking it. And that was just for me, speaking of which ... She scratched the side of his face hard enough to draw blood, getting a cry of anger from Naruto. That was for making me run away when you were in trouble. Naruto tried to open his mouth to reply, shutting it firmly when he felt Yujito's close-range glare on him. No arguments, no excuses, you simply won't be doing that ever again, understood? Naruto nodded quickly, seeing as how he was pinned down. Good boy. With that, Yujito lowered herself down, still straddling him, and proceeded to renew their previous activity, with Naruto dynamically reciprocating her actions via beginning to reach under her shirt until... Yo, Mr. 9, I got here fast after hearing about those guys that kicked your ass. The door to Naruto's hospital room was then kicked almost off of the hinges, and the towering form of the very familiar Hachibi Jinchuriki filled it through, grinning widely. It's Karabi-sama singing you a tune, hoping to see you get well soon. He failed to notice that Naruto was sitting up unusually ramrod straight, with most of his bed linens askew over one particular spot around his legs as if to cover something, as well as Yujito sitting statue still in her chair, hair slightly awry and her face with a healthy blush running across it, as well as both of them panting slightly. Naruto snapped out of his trance first. Be what the fuck? You knock before you enter a room with a closed door. Karabi scoffed at Naruto. I don't knock, motherfucker. Clearly, Yujito said with her eye twitching at her older Jinchuriki friend, wishing he would spontaneously burst into flames right that minute. Karabi-sensei, you need to slow down and be quiet, we're in a hospital. Karui came inside of the room, followed by Omoi and Samui, who rolled her blue eyes at her teammate at the hypocrisy of that statement. Karui blinked at seeing Naruto up and about. So you're finally able to take visitors, Naruto? Naruto gave her a dry look. I could have taken visitors yesterday, but I tried breaking out the moment I woke up, and after 3 attempts they isolated me until today. Karabi nodded in understanding while the others simply looked at him like he was insane. Omoi, with the ever-present sucker in his mouth, spoke up. You're talking about this place like it's prison or something. Naruto's dry look switched over to him. It is when there isn't anything wrong with you. He looked between them all. I will give each of you 10,000 ryo if you get me out of here now. Omoi and Karui went wide-eyed while Samui simply gave him a questioning look. Where did you get that kind of money to spend on something like this? Naruto smirked inside of his head. He was still counting his money from the bounty on Sasori. He had gone on back-to-back high-level missions, didn't have any expenses other than food, and Hamiko handled those matters herself with the money she made assisting at the academy when he wasn't there. Yet he was so moving out of that apartment when he got back. Hell, with the money he was going to make off of Hidan's head, he was going to be more loaded than ever before. Damn. He didn't get Kakuzu's corpse. Oh well, there's such a thing as too much money after all. At that moment Jiraiya walked into the room. That's not going to be necessary, brat. You're good to go. He threw a bundle to Naruto that when caught showed that they were Naruto's clothes and other possessions that he sealed into scrolls for travel. Yep. It's time we get out of here and go back to Konoha. Finally, it took long enough, Naruto said as he began to peruse through his things. He looked up in time to catch himself from taking his hospital gown off to prepare to change. Could I get a minute here? Yujito plopped down on the bed next to him. You don't want me to stay, Naruto-kun? Naruto pushed her lightly. If you stay, then changing is going to be the last thing that I end up doing in here. He panned his eyes over to Jiraiya, who was writing down something in a small notepad. Ero-sennin, what the hell? Jiraiya looked up at Naruto and put his pad away. Oh, get over it, Gaki. I've been using your life to brainstorm ideas for my books since right after we went after Tsunade. He chuckled lecherously. Lately you've been giving me quite a bit to write about, I have to say. I didn't see you becoming a ladies' man. Naruto sighed. I'm not a ladies' man. Liar. Yujito stated plainly with her arms crossed. Kaori nodded, blushing slightly. I remember the last time you were here, you know. You're full of crap on that one. Samui rubbed her shoulders. Is there any chance you can give me another massage like you did last time you were here before you go? Naruto said unsurely. Ask him. He pointed over to Jiraiya, who was once again rapidly writing and mouthing out massage. Don't make me burn that thing, Ero-sennin. Oh, shut up and get dressed already, Jiraiya said, wiping away the small amount of blood coming from his nose from what he himself had written. We have to get back to Tsunadeheim and give her the results of the successful mission. Naruto blinked owlishly. Success? But the Raikage turned down the idea of us joining forces. Jiraiya grinned at the boy. Well, after your little rescue stunt, and after he saw how two of the Akatsuki could get right into his village and engage Yujito here without a trace going out until the fight was more or less over, he saw that there was a need for some kind of measure to be put in place. So congrats, kid, your little hero act brought about another alliance. You seem to be making a habit out of that. You act like you're mad about it, Naruto said. Now can you all get the fuck out so I can change? He then stopped to think about it. Girls can stay. Naruto hopped out of bed once he felt everyone start to move towards the door and almost started taking his hospital gown off until he felt the presence of others still in the room. Turning to the door, he saw Yujito, Samui, and Kaori still standing there, one smirking, one blushing, and one with no noticeable reflection on her face but a sparkle in her eyes told him all he needed to know. Naruto let off a sweat drop. You know, I was kind of joking about that. Kanahigaku no Sato, Hokage Tower. Tsunade stared at Naruto and Jiraiya with her cheek in her hand, leaning on her desk lazily as she looked at the two of them. Well, you certainly took the roundabout way towards doing so, but good work, you two. That's one village we can mark down for having our side against Akatsuki alongside Suna. Jiraiya nodded, pleased with Naruto's rendition of how the battle went. 3 of the 5 villages isn't a bad number at all. He patted Naruto on the head. Now don't you have something to discuss with the kid? Oh yes. Tsunade perked up and reached inside of her desk, rummaging around for a moment before dropping a small stack of papers in front of Naruto and handing him a pen. I just need you to sign some things for your identification. Naruto shrugged and grabbed the pen, signing his signature on all of the corresponding areas Tsunade designated for him. After handing the pen back over upon completion, he finally asked, So what was that for anyway? I've never had to sign anything before. Tsunade didn't answer and simply took out a stamp before slamming it on the paper and looking up at Naruto with a grin. Oh, that was just the registration forms for your promotion to Jounin. Congratulations, brat. He simply stared at Tsunade for over a minute, fully processing what he had just heard. You're not messing with me, right? You're finally promoting me? Why now? Tsunade sighed. Politics, brat. I would have done it sooner, but you need ample backing from many high-ranking sources in the village these days for any decision like this to go through. You can at least take it as a sign that things are definitely changing around here for you. She finished with a smile. Yeah, either that or I have friends in blackmailing places, Naruto thought as he couldn't fight the smile peeking through on his own face. Jiraiya ruffled Naruto's hair. Way to go, I knew they couldn't keep you off of that rank forever. It was just a matter of time. He looked up to Tsunade. So are we supposed to head straight out to the next village? Tsunade shook her head. No. Naruto is on a probationary period as a jounin. He needs to get 3 more missions under his belt as the leader before it's truly decided whether or not he'll remain a jounin or get demoted to Tokubetsu jounin or back to chunin. Naruto raised an eyebrow. I'm on probation? We have probation? Ranks higher than chunin have probation, Jiraiya explained. We have a pretty large population of ninjas, so this is to make sure we have the best of the best leading the pack, so to speak. Smaller villages don't have probation since they need their elite ninja for a showing, but Konoha ninja are already perceived as the outright best, so we simply make sure of that. You'll be fine, Tsunade assured him as she put the papers away. You don't seem like a choke artist to me, so just work the way you always do and things should go smoothly. You've earned this rank. Naruto reached into his pocket. Speaking of stuff I've earned. He pulled out a labeled scroll. How much do I earn for this? He unsealed the scroll and covered the desk in smoke. You blonde cock-chasing son of a bitch, I knew you'd let me out. On Tsunade's desk sat the disembodied head of Hidan, snarling and knife foaming at the mouth at Naruto. Get down here and fight me like a man instead of like a bitch. Tsunade looked at the head on her desk, cursing Naruto out colorfully. You didn't kill him. Naruto looked up at his village leader slowly. I can't kill him. But this should be better, right? I mean, he's still alive. That's got to count for something. Naruto started raising his voice higher and higher as Hidan yelled over him. We could always dash. We could dash. We dash. Naruto glared at the head and stuffed the scroll he had been sealed in inside of his mouth. Shut the fuck up. Winners are talking here. Tsunade rubbed her temple and pulled out some sake. I thought I'd seen everything physically possible in this world, and then you literally dropped something like this in my lap. You lead a charmed life, brat, she said before pouring herself a small cup. Naruto then took the bowl from her and took a swing straight from it. It's not my fault, Tsunade-bachan. Stuff happens. He tried passing the bottle to Jiraiya before Tsunade snatched it back out of his hands. Shizune! Tsunade called loudly. Naruto pointed at the muffled Hidan's head. Can I keep that? Jiraiya gave Naruto a deadpan look. Why in Kami's would you ever want to keep that for? Naruto shrugged. Hamiko-chan could use some company when I'm not home, and he'd make a great pet. I'll even defang him so he can't bite or anything. Hell, I'm certain that I can interrogate him for some good stuff on Akatsuki. That's actually a decent idea, Tsunade admitted. The interrogation part, not the house pet part. What is wrong with you? Naruto looked away awkwardly when at the same time Shizune walked into the room. Shizune, can you take this to Anbu HQ until I can get a hold of Ibiki Marino or Inoichi Yamanaka? Shizune walked closer to the desk and froze when she saw a severed head mumbling curses with a scroll shoved into its mouth, shooting death looks at everyone around. Her eyes fluttered before she fell backwards into unconsciousness. Naruto and Jiraiya looked down at the fallen black-haired woman. Did Shizune Nichin just faint? Naruto kneeled down next to her, snapping his fingers in front of her face and shaking her lightly in an attempt to revive her. Tsunade looked over her desk at her oldest companion, Naruto, and Jiraiya. Yeah, you're dismissed, brat. I'll wake her up. Another bowl, Aji-san, Naruto called out, placing an empty bowl of ramen to the side of the counter in an effort to wait for his next bowl. I have no shortage of funds to pay today. Naruto's exuberance over his meal caused Tsuchi to chuckle at his most prolific customer. A pair of hands were placed over his eyes before a very welcome voice let him know exactly who it was. I knew that I would find you here, Naruto-sama. Why didn't you come home first? The voice finished almost poutingly. Naruto smiled and removed the hands from his eyes, allowing his aide to take a seat next to him inside of the ramen stand. Hi, Hamiko-chan. Anything interesting happen while I was gone? He stopped smiling and looked at her rather gravely. You didn't burn the apartment complex down testing stuff out, did you? Hamiko rolled her eyes and leaned on the counter, ever-present smile still on her face. No, I'm not even working with anything volatile now. All I did was outfit your gift with some seals, and that was pretty much all I did. It's only been a week since you left, you know. Speaking of seals, Naruto changed topics. I can use the hardest stuff that you taught me on actual people now, so let me in on some new stuff next time we train. He picked up his sword. Also, I need you to seriously help me break down all of the seals placed on this thing and help me work out how this thing works. Going blind with this thing isn't such a good idea anymore. Naruto stopped talking as a bowl of ramen was placed in front of him. Of course, master. Hamiko agreed before smirking. By the way, you're in trouble. Naruto stopped eating and looked at her with noodles hanging from his mouth. Huh! A small laugh came from the white-haired girl before she explained. Where do I start? Well, you keep failing to tell people when you leave, and that usually leaves me to inform them of your absence. People don't like that, especially the people that were looking for you. Like who? Naruto asked as he continued to eat. I was only gone for a week. Who could have possibly had anything to say to me? Tayuya-san first of all. Naruto stopped eating to listen. I'm certain you were expecting that though. Then there was Anko-san as well about the curse seal, but I handled that appointment in your stead, right up until Tayuya-san came over for what assistance she could offer and the story of your, exploits, got out. Naruto stopped slurping up his next bowl of ramen at a breakneck pace and looked at Hamiko, still holding his chopsticks to his mouth. And? Hamiko looked away sheepishly. Everyone that knows of you now knows about it. I am sorry, Naruto-sama. Naruto looked over at Tucci, who had also been looking at him before the ramen chef turned away, whistling innocently. He then thought about that statement. Everyone that knows of him. That was actually a ton of people in reality. So when you say everyone you mean ... Naruto Naikin! Naruto turned around on his stool to find Konohamaru along with Udan and Moegi. The leader of the trio was looking at Naruto defiantly. Hey Konohamaru. You guys are genin, huh? Good for you all. Hamiko at his side waved pleasantly at the trio, who waved right back to her. Konohamaru made a fist and thrusted it out at Naruto. I'll show you how much stronger I am now, Naruto, and I, Oiroke no Jutsu, sexy jutsu. Konohamaru promptly transformed into a beautiful, nude, brown-haired woman, only to sweat drop after realizing nothing was happening. Naruto simply raised an eyebrow at the display. Huh. Man, I haven't used that move in forever. Naruto vacantly realized that a pair of chopsticks were being held in front of him with food on them. Oh, thank you, Hamiko-chan. Naruto gleefully partook in his meal, forcing Konohamaru to face fault out of his transformation. Moegi and Udan helped Konohamaru stand back up. Man, well, I guess for someone that invented the technique and can see the real thing whenever he wants, it won't have much effect. Naruto immediately stopped letting Hamiko feed him before looking at Konohamaru emotionlessly, bringing a shiver to the newly minted genin's spine. Naruto turned and placed his money for the meal on the counter before cracking his neck and turning back to the trio. So you know how I could never legit train with you guys because you weren't ninja yet? Yeah, that little restriction is off. The kids turned to run, but before they could take their first step, Hamiko flashed some seals into Naruto's hands that he slapped onto the bodies of the three young genin before making a set of half a dozen hand seals. Fuin Jutsu, Mahi no Fuin, sealing technique, seal of paralysis. Naruto nodded in appreciation at the effect of the seals as he saw the kids freeze in mid-stride. Good work, Hamiko-chan. How long do I have until it wears off? The seal isn't attuned to you personally, so I would give it 2 minutes since I don't think they know how to stop their chakra flow that well yet, Hamiko informed him. Damn. Naruto started to gather them all up at once. That isn't enough time to get all the way across town to the Forest of Death so I can cut loose. Oh well, I guess I'll have to make this informal at a nearby training ground. Later, Hamiko-chan, I'll be home in a bit. I've got stuff to talk about with you later anyway. Naruto jumped off with Konohamaru, Moegi, and Udan all being carried by him, unable to escape. Don't beat them up badly, master. You'll get in trouble again. Hamiko called out to him before she began to make her way home. Naruto didn't really beat them up, sparing them from the horrible flashback to their time in the academy. He really actually did train with them, not on things that they could do with their Jounin sensei, who he found out was Ebisu, such as tree climbing or teamwork drills. He made Kage Bunshin and actually worked with them for a bit on things that he figured played to their strengths. With Konohamaru being the heavy hitter, he gave him a few pointers on strength exercises and told him that the sooner he showed marked improvement in the things that Ebisu had been training him in, the sooner both he and Ebisu would more than likely teach him more ninjutsu to work with. For Udan, Naruto taught him what he knew of wicked traps that the boy already had base knowledge on after hanging out with Konohamaru for so long, and tried to steer him towards starting specialization in Fuinjutsu, citing that other than Jiraiya, himself, Hamiko, who wasn't a ninja, and maybe Kakashi, there really wasn't anyone in Konoha that could claim any kind of advanced skill in sealing techniques. The things that Naruto attempted to give him a crash course were more of starter concepts for someone as smart as Udan was. For Moegi, as far as concrete teaching, there wasn't much he could show her. She wasn't going to have the chakra reserves to handle Naruto's form of combat, so all of the ninjutsu he knew were out of the question. He didn't know any genjutsu, he didn't know any medical jutsu, so he figured that if nothing else he could show her some blade work as an effort to teach her something. She surprisingly took to it rather well and worked hard to learn the basic things that Naruto was trying to teach her. He also promised her after giving her a wooden training sword that if she could show him that she had learned enough on her own, he would buy her an actual sword and teach her more than just basics. He didn't just head right out and buy her one after finding out she was interested, because he was certain that she wouldn't need one for quite a while, being a genin for a little over 2 weeks, and that he wanted to give her some incentive to actually train instead of coast on her laurels. After a few hours of working with the genin, and hearing Konohamaru lament about how he wished Naruto could have been promoted sooner so he could have taken them as a team, he sent them on their way, telling them that any time they wanted to reach him they could look for him, or Hamiko. Well, just look at you, Naruto. Naruto saw Kakashi emerging into the clearing of the training field, smiling at him as the sun was going down. Maybe you should lobby on taking a genin squad of your own if that's how you'd work with them. Naruto chuckled to himself. No way, Kakashi-sensei. I just like those kids, they're going to be good. I don't think I could take a team just like that. And from that I'm assuming you've heard that I got promoted. As a misthought he rubbed the back of his head. I hope Ebisu isn't sore about me stealing his team for a few hours. Kakashi nodded. Who do you think put in an endorsement for you to move up? I may not look it at times, but I am very influential. Ah, Naruto said as they began to walk back towards the town. You're right. Walking around with your face buried in Erosenen's pervert book all the time doesn't make you look very influential. No offense. Kakashi wagged his finger chidingly. Says you. From what Enko said to everyone about you and the Tayuya girl ... Damn it, Enko-chan! Naruto shouted to no one in particular. She just spread that around to spite me after she got sent back on that mission we were on. I'm going to get her back later, she better know that. You're in trouble. Kakashi chirped with a sing-song voice. After that little bit of news broke, there were some people very interested in speaking with you. A twinge of remembrance ran through Naruto's head. Hamiko-chan said that too. She didn't really get a chance to elaborate on it though. What the fuck does that even mean, Kakashi-sensei? Kakashi simply gave him his trademark look. It's not my place to say. You'll find out soon enough, I'm certain. Naruto could swear that the man was radiating an aura of I know something you don't. Once you get off of probation, I should set up a party for Konoha's newest jounin. You never know, Kakashi, Naruto said offhandedly. I might get myself demoted. I mean, what if I'm not good enough? Both of them stopped walking and turned towards each other, both of them with complete and utter straight-faced looks, right up until both of them simultaneously burst into laughter. Yeah, right. Can you imagine me saying that out loud to anyone? Yeah, everything's going to be fine. Working with people way older than me that I have to lead might be awkward though. Kakashi motioned for them to keep going. Meh, you'd get used to it. I was a jounin at 13, remember? Imagine how I felt. You're just lucky that there isn't a war going on right now. Naruto immediately countered. If there was a war going on right now, I would have been promoted faster, and the team leading thing wouldn't be an issue since I would lobby for more solo sneaking missions than anything else. He looked over at the masked jounin. I get where you're coming from though. But that's just another reason that I wouldn't take a genin team even if I could get one right now. Akatsuki is still after me. What would my genin do if we were attacked while we were out? Well then, that's just extra incentive for you to finish them all off so you can experience the joys of teaching like me, Kakashi said cheerfully. What teaching? Naruto asked. All you taught Team 7 as a team was how to climb trees. I'm sorry, Naruto, did you say something? Kakashi asked as his nose was right back in his favorite book. Naruto's eye twitched as he fought the urge to tackle Kakashi and beat the crap out of him, wondering if he could get away with it. Nothing important, Kakashi-sensei, nothing important at all. Sitting at the kitchen table behind Naruto, Hamiko was using the only thing she knew that could possibly be construed as a ninjutsu, Shikoku Fuin, finger engraving seal, that she was using to engrave a seal on Naruto's upper shoulder. Hamiko wasn't too thrilled with doing this, as it required her to actually burn the seal into Naruto's flesh before she could actually apply ink to make a tattoo out of it, but Naruto wasn't complaining, or flinching, or even showing that this was mildly hurting him, allowing her to proceed with a steady hand. The entire time she was simply telling Naruto about the things of mild interest that transpired when he was gone. It wasn't until Naruto started going over what he had been doing in Kumo, with Yujito, that she felt a twinge of something in her. Luckily for Naruto, she had finished the part that required her to burn the seal onto his shoulder, or else she might have slipped her control and messed up the pattern. From that point on, Hamiko refrained from responding verbally to anything he said that tried to engage her in the conversation. She simply stayed silent right until she finished placing the ink seal over Naruto's burn. After allowing the ink to dry, he looked himself over in the mirror. That's good work, Hamiko-chan. What was this thing again? You were pretty insistent on putting it on me. Hamiko responded almost robotically. It is a simple seal of communication between you and I, Naruto-sama. She lowered the shoulder of her kimono to show that she had already placed the exact same tattoo on her shoulder. It will allow you and I to communicate by channeling chakra in short bursts, resulting in sharp pulses to the other person's corresponding tattoo. She then tested it out on Naruto. He felt the same feeling she told him he would feel on his shoulder. So it's like Morse code? Okay then, that's great. He then noticed that the small serene smile she usually had on her face was gone. What's the matter, Hamiko-chan? Hamiko tried to speak 3 times, but closed her mouth with nothing to say each time. She finally steeled herself in front of Naruto. I allowed your relations with Tayuya-san because she knew you longer than I did, and having someone like her care for you would have been a good thing. What of this girl in Kumo? Naruto leaned against the wall. Yujito? Yugi-chan is interested in me. We didn't have sex, Hamiko-chan. But you were going to. She countered. That's where your story was going until Karabi-san interrupted you, if you were to be believed. Naruto frowned. Maybe that's where it was going to go. What does it matter in the end? Hamiko looked down. Why do you think I've stayed for so long, master? Why do you think I enjoyed doing so much for you and helping you? I even sleep in your bed with you all the time. Do you really dislike me that much? Naruto blinked at her mood. I figured you were just one big sweetheart that I couldn't convince otherwise. And no, I love you, Hamiko-chan. I don't know what I did to deserve you doing so many things for me. Hamiko shook her head. You don't love me. Not the way that I wish you would, at least. She stood up and started walking closer to him. You are the most important person in the entire world to me, Naruto-sama. You are the only man that I would readily give my life for if need be. I know you tell me not to live for my own dreams. Well, I've found something to live my life for. Naruto looked at her expectantly. And that would be? Hamiko closed the distance between them and placed herself firmly against Naruto's body. All I want is you, Naruto-sama. I just want to see you be happy. Not only that, but I want to be the one that makes you happy. Without you, I don't know what would have become of me if I had ever gotten out of cryogenic freezing without you, but you need me, and that makes me feel wonderful. Naruto sighed and held her against him. I can't marry you, Hamiko. I've said it repeatedly to more than just you. Real relationships won't work for me. There are ... I don't want you to marry me, and from the way you reacted when we first met, nothing about our relationship is normal. She cut him off. I just want to know that you care for me. Because I really do love you, honestly. Naruto tilted her chin up to face him. I already told you that I love you, didn't I? Hamiko made a pouting face at him. I don't mean like that, master. Naruto kissed her on the lips and felt her nearly go limp in his arms. Oh, you didn't? Naruto asked, stroking her cheek with the back of his hand. Are you sure? Because I think that was the kind of love you wanted to hear from me. The amber eyes of Hamiko were quivering at the prospect of this being some kind of trick. See, can I kiss you? Please? Naruto grinned down at her. You never had to ask me if you wanted to do that, Hamiko-chan. Like I said since the day I brought you to Konoha, you're more than a servant to me. And I would do anything to make you happy. Hamiko's smile returned, and Naruto thought it could have single-handedly lit the room were it dark inside. She wrapped her arms around his neck and kissed Naruto possessively. He didn't think she had that kind of aggression in her. The back of his head bounced off of the wall when she did that. Naruto scooped her up and plopped himself down on the couch, still holding on to Hamiko with her sitting in his lap. Naruto laughed when he felt her squirm for a better position. All right, we need to talk about stuff. Hamiko shook her head. I don't want to talk. She emphasized this by kissing him again. I don't care what you end up doing as long as you love me, master. Naruto leaned down and placed her on the couch. I can't not love you. I can't not love anyone. I don't have it in me to turn people down for some reason. Can you believe that? I'm supposed to be a killer, aren't I? I know, Hamiko said. And that's why people like me and Tayuya-san like you, probably why Yujito-san likes you too. If you care about someone, you won't let them down, but if anyone hurts someone close to you, you destroy them. That's very reassuring. Naruto laughed. I'm the meanest nice guy in the entire world. Hamiko pulled him back down into another kiss. Hey, he said she never had to ask, didn't he? Hokage Tower. Jiraiya sat across from Tsunade's desk, both of them drinking from her bottle of sake as the day wound down to a close. Jiraiya finished his drink and looked over at his old teammate. I'm planning on heading off to follow up on a lead sometime soon. It shouldn't take too long, just in and out. When? Tsunade asked, filling her cup back up. We still need you to finish the mission with Naruto. You still need to head to Kiri. Jiraiya watched her drink down her own sake. We should give them a little more time to bolster their rankings before we try with them, possibly after the next Chunin exams if I were to give it a time frame. He laughed once she gave him a look of disbelief. Hey, I know enough about politics. I'm doing this alliance thing for a reason, right? Tsunade let a smile grow on her face. All right. So when do you plan on leaving on this mission of yours? Jiraiya shrugged. Let me rest up a bit from this one and get word from my network operative and I'll be good. It should be about a month or so. And just so you know, I'm going to take Naruto with me, so have his schedule cleared by the time I'm ready to go. Tsunade paid special attention when she heard that. Anything about Naruto was a point of serious interest to her. He was her only living family, and she truly did care about him. Why do you want to take Naruto with you? Jiraiya scratched his face. A few reasons. But anyway, can you do that for me? He should be done with his probation period in a month or two, shouldn't he? He turned on the begging. Please, Tsunadeheim? Tsunade simply rested her face in her hands. You're 30 years too old to be doing that, you pervert. You're giving me more of a mutt face than a puppy dog face. She lowered her hands once he went back to normal. All right. When he's all set with his new responsibilities, you can take him with you again. Cammy, I'm going to regret sending you two out again, aren't I? Both of you are bad luck, and sending you both out at the same time is just begging for trouble. Yeah, you would know about bad luck, wouldn't you? Jiraiya quipped, getting a tick mark to form on Tsunade's head. Oh, you know I love you, Tsunadeheim. Now come on and show me how much you love me. Within a second after uttering that, Tsunade had sent Jiraiya flying backwards, obliterating the office doors and who knows what else with the force of her punch. I love you that much, pervert. Tsunade smirked while cracking her knuckles. I knew you did. Jiraiya called out weakly from his place among the rubble. Omake, Kage Bunshin Chronicles. Alright, why the fuck am I here? Naruto asked, seated in Kurabi's hut in the Unreikyu. What kind of training are we about to do here? B sat down in front of Naruto with a look of utmost seriousness on his face. He took a deep breath before speaking. This is the most important kind of training I could ask you to help me with. That immediately disarmed Naruto. Kurabi never spoke to him normally ever. Can you help me? Naruto pondered for a moment. What the hell could he possibly do to help someone like Kurabi train? Oh well, why not? Maybe he could learn some cool Jinchuriki moves while he was there? That was more than enough incentive to help, even if the fact that they were friends wasn't enough. Alright, you've got it. What do you need me to do? Kurabi smiled and reached over to the side before thumping a sizable batch of notebooks off of the ground. Looking at them curiously, he picked one up. Maybe Kurabi was trying to work out the physics for a new jutsu or something. Upon reading what was logged inside, he blanched and face faulted. What the dash? What is this? Kurabi grinned. My shit is old after the passing of time. It's time for the killer bee to make some new rhymes. Ignoring the large black man sitting in front of him, Naruto perused through the notebook before slamming it on the ground. Down on the town, a face with a frown, a sad clown. Naruto raised an eyebrow at Kurabi. Seriously? Kurabi nodded. Don't be a shiv, kid, let me know. Do my rhymes kill or do they blow? Naruto stared at Kurabi as a war waged in his mind, the unbridled, unadulterated truth versus his own personal survival instincts. He could tell Kurabi the truth, that everything he just read on that paper gave him brain cancer that the QB had to purge from his system swiftly. However, Kurabi took pride in his horrible rapping ability, and he seemed to take an incredible amount of pride in the drivel that Naruto was reading, and it got worse as it went along. Were Naruto to tell him how much it sucked, then Kurabi would probably quickly show him exactly why he needed to come this far away from Kumagakure to actually train, and he wasn't looking forward to that. Finished with his covert thoughts, Naruto opened his mouth to answer Kurabi. Well, I think that I'm not interpreting the rap right or something. Maybe I'm not taking this the right way. Rap's not my thing. Oh, that's all? Kurabi picked up one of the notebooks and randomly flipped it open. I can teach you to feel the rhyme, kid, it's alright. Hachibi-sama's got all damn night. On the road back to Konohagakure no Sado, Naruto stopped right in the middle of the road before looking back down the road they had just come from with a shiver. Jiraiya poked Naruto in the side of the head to get his attention. What's got you all messed up in the head, Gaki? Naruto shook it off and kept walking down the road as a stray tear fell from his eye. I love my Kage Bunshin so much. Omake, Kage Bunshin Chronicles 2. Tell me again how I got myself into this situation, Naruto asked as he was trying his very best to keep his eyes from straying downward. The reason being, there was a very naked Samui covered only by a towel, lying down on her bed with a content look on her face. The reason for that being, Naruto had his hands going all across her back and shoulders in a very soothing manner. The girl in question turned her head to the side and looked up at him questioningly. Are you complaining? Naruto shook his head as a grin broke out onto his face. Are you kidding me? I'm here, aren't I? Now chill out and let me work some of these knots out, Samui-chan. You're so rigid all the time, it's bad for you. He cracked his knuckles before getting right back to work, eliciting a moan of pleasure from Samui. You know, if you lived in Kumo I wouldn't have shoulder and back problems, Naruto-kun, she replied sleepily. I'm certain you'd make sure of that. Naruto smiled wryly at her. Trying to get me to defect, huh? And what exactly would I get out of it? Samui smirked. I'd be more than willing to let you touch more than my back if you were. She ceased speaking when Naruto worked over a particularly sore spot, stifling her words with another groan. Ahem. Naruto turned his head towards the doorway to see Yujito and Karui both standing there in towels. Yujito was tapping her foot impatiently on the ground. It was to my understanding that we were all supposed to get a turn here. Samui didn't even spare her fellow kunoichi a glance. I saw him first, get your own. As Yujito visibly bristled angrily at that, Naruto felt the makings of a catfight brewing, and despite his desire to see it, especially with them in only towels, he simply couldn't let it happen for his own reasons. He wordlessly made a cross-hand seal, and in a puff of smoke, 2 Kage Bunshin were at the other girls' sides, escorting them to their own spots on the bed, Yujito grinning the entire way, Karui blushing and somewhat scowling, but her heart wasn't into it. On the road to Kanahigakure no Sato, Naruto and Jiraiya had stopped on their way to Konoha for the night and had set up camp. Naruto was simply poking at the fire they had started to cook their food just as blood slowly started coming from his nose and a goofy grin crossed his face. I love my Kage Bunshin so much. Jutsu list. Fuin Jutsu, Mahi no Fuin, Sealing Technique, Seal of Paralysis. A-ranked Fuin Jutsu. Supplementary. The user applies the prepared seal tag to the target and activates it using their own chakra. Upon activation, the seal will bring an enemy's physical movement to a complete stop, using the chakra needed to activate the technique to disrupt the opponent's chakra flow, much like a genjutsu. One talented enough with their chakra control can easily break the seal if they know how it works, as all that is necessary is for one to stop and restart their chakra flow. The time limit on the seal, when fully applied with full preparation and all needed hand seals, 25 in all, lasts up to 5 minutes. Shikoku Fuin, Finger Engraving Seal. C-ranked Ninjutsu/Fuin Jutsu. Supplementary, Close Range. The user concentrates chakra into their finger, and using the heat from that can apply writing on whatever they want. This allows them to write on the skin of animals, iron plates, or a wide range of things. However, doing so requires them to be very delicate with their chakra control. This jutsu causes slight discomfort for a living target, and if it is on flesh, it will scar. Chapter 35, Good-Natured Hazing. Naruto sat in the shady branches of a tree situated near the main gates of Konoha as he waited for the team he was intended to lead on his first mission as a jounin. He had finally decided to wear his flak jacket, and underneath that a black long-sleeved muscle shirt. The change in clothes due to the climate he was going to be facing for this mission. He had never led anyone before, that was for certain. He was more accustomed to taking orders and dealing with whatever he was instructed to handle, and he was for the most part okay with that. However, overlying mission parameters didn't direct him to be a follower, they directed him to be a leader, because what Hokage couldn't lead a few missions? Hamiko, who was relishing her new position as the primary woman in Naruto's life more or less by default, but it didn't matter to her, was quick to give Naruto a goodbye kiss when he left for the mission that morning. After that point, Tayuya caught him outside of his apartment and laid her own claim on him, heading back inside of her apartment after stealing a blistering kiss of her own with a toothy grin. Strange, Naruto assumed she'd be more pissed about their little escapade. Oh well, it was time to get to work as usual. You're punctual, aren't you, Psycho High? Naruto said to seemingly no one before Sai appeared in an ink shunshin with his strange smile on his face. You're the first to arrive. Looking forward to working with you. This certainly makes things easier now, doesn't it? Sai asked the Scarface blonde. Naruto nodded. Yep. Now I can just act like we met on this mission and hit it off and became friends. It takes away one pain in the ass of finding you to talk to for sure. You should get used to it, Naruto-senpai. As of now, I am a permanent fixture on your squad for the foreseeable future. Sai said, pulling out a notebook that he began drawing in as they waited for the rest of the team. Naruto watched Sai from above and began to chuckle. What's funny? Naruto stopped laughing and looked at his comrade. You might be all about pushing your emotions away and all of that, but you still have a coping mechanism for all of the crazy stuff we do, just like every other good ninja does. Sai looked up at Naruto blankly. I don't understand, senpai. Naruto shook his head. Your notebook. What are you doing with it right now? Sai looked at the notebook in his hand and back to Naruto. I don't understand. Naruto jumped down from the tree and took the notebook from Sai's hands, flipping through it with an analyzing eye. You draw more than just stuff to fight with. Sai nodded and Naruto handed him back the notebook. That's your thing. Drawing is probably the thing you always do when you're not on missions, keeping you from cracking like an egg, the only blatant link to your emotions you have. And to prove my point, give me that for the duration of the mission. Sai looked at his notebook for a moment before handing it over to Naruto, who gave it right back. I thought you were going to take it away, why give it back? Naruto grinned at Sai and patted him on the shoulder. Nah, I didn't want it. I knew no matter what it meant to you, you were going to hand it over since I was the one that told you to do it. All I needed to see was the little flash of hesitation you gave me before handing it over. That would be a normal thing to other people, but to guys like you that Danzo-Gigi trained, that's exceptional. I'm starting to get through to you, Kohai. Sai's face showed no inflection of actually caring. I failed to see how you being able to see through my emotions is a good thing. It means my training is a failure, and I need to be conditioned again. Naruto let out a phantom shiver at the thought of being reconditioned. No, you don't. You're my liaison to Danzo-Gigi, and apparently his successor, so that means that you need to be somewhat functional in social situations, or else you'd be really suspicious. How else are we supposed to work together to help each other do our missions if I can't even get you to hold your own in a public forum? Although I'm barely the guy to be counting on for that. Sai put up his drawing notebook and pulled out a smaller one. Then I will simply have to take notes on regular interactions from you. You are my senpai, and you have far more experience than I do with the matter. Naruto stared at the pale teen blankly. Sure, why not? Let's try that. Sai's eyes flecked to the gate. We will have to continue this conversation another time. I believe it is time to get to work. Naruto rolled his neck loose and started towards the gate to reach his other teammates. Alright, let's do this. You might want to have on some better clothes for where we're going, but hey, you're a grown ninja. He patted Sai on the shoulder as they both walked over. Everything's going to be a-okay on this one, it's an easy detail. Hello, Tenten. A cheerful Sakura said as she walked over to the gate, only to see the bun-haired girl with a sweat drop on her head. What's the matter? Tenten rubbed her temple. Other than the fact that you and I are the only ones here on the squad, we also have dash dot. She pointed at a middle-aged man with glasses freaking out about something around a crew of others. This guy that's all worked up in a frenzy, and he's not telling me what's wrong. Sakura's reply was cut off when Naruto and Sai walked onto the scene. Hello Sakura, Tenten-chan, meet Sai, he'll be working with us on this one. Sai nodded in confirmation of Naruto's statement. You guys ready to do this thing? Sakura pleasantly greeted Naruto with a wave. Hi Naruto. Congratulations on your promotion. She looked him over. So you're the jounin on this mission? You're pretty young for it, aren't you? Naruto shrugged. Everyone's got to grow up sometimes, right? Hell, Neji's a jounin and he's 1 year older than us, right Tenten-chan? Naruto looked over at the weapons specialist who haughtily turned away from him, getting Naruto to sweat drop. So she's one of the people that wanted to talk to me, is she? Sai nudged Naruto out of his stupor, getting him to clear his head on the matter. Okay, so let's get this show on the road and roll out already. We've got to get moving to get to the coast, right? Where's the Sunday guy that hired us? We can't leave yet. The man that had been so upset the entire time came scrambling over to Naruto and clutched at his vest. The entire reason we needed the escort, Yuki Fujikaze, isn't here. She's missing. Sakura gasped. That's who this is meant to protect. The movie star? I've seen all of the Princess Gale films. Naruto hadn't, but he knew who she was. She was so famous. Being busy almost nonstop for years kind of kills your free time. He looked at the man before gently pushing him off. Alright then. This mission is starting off just great, isn't it? He sighed before calling his team in. Sai, Sakura, you two search for Yuki and I'll send a Kagebunshin with you in case you two or me and Tenten find her. Everyone nodded and set off to search. Naruto simply walked, keeping Tenten from running off like Sai and Sakura had. What are you doing, Naruto? We have to find her. Naruto noticed her snappish tone and how she had taken the kun off of the end of his name, but didn't say anything. He simply made the hand seal for Kagebunshin and created 3 dozen before setting them out to search the village. He gestured with his head for her to follow him as he walked through the village to wait for any feedback giving him Yuki's location. He could feel Tenten's eyes on him, but when he panned his onto hers she would turn them back down the street. You want to talk while we wait, Tenten? He kept the chan off of her name that he had been calling her ever since their border patrol mission because she was doing the same. Maybe he could get her to snap and tell him what was wrong. I don't really think we need to talk, Naruto, Tenten replied, keeping her eyes straight ahead. I think I know all I need to without even hearing a word from you. Naruto groaned inwardly. This wasn't going to be something she could set aside for the duration of the mission, and the last thing he needed was her attention split if they wound up in a fight. He stepped out in front of her and stopped her from moving any further. Alright, I was going to wait until you told me yourself, but this isn't something that I can hold off on. Tenten, what's wrong? What did I do? Tenten's eyes locked with his, glaring before she had to turn away from him. What happened to Tenten-chan? Or did you drop that once you did your neighbor? Naruto froze in place, confused look on his face before he slowly spoke. What me and Tayuya-chan did is between us. Why does it bother you? And I stopped using the chan because you're acting all pissy and you dropped the kun from my name. Tenten took a deep breath. I was starting to like you a lot, Naruto-kun. The month we had doing the border patrol was the best mission I'd ever had. Everything you did was so sweet and you made me think that you were into me. Naruto could see where this was going. I do like you, Tenten-chan. He looked around, seeing people in the streets looking at them both. Can we talk about this some other time? He almost flinched at the recall her face made. I promise we can talk about this later, I swear. But we have to work. One of my clones found Yuki and they're bringing her to the gate as we speak. She liked him too? Man, this couldn't have come up at a worse time. He could only hope the mission wrapped up quickly so that he could work this out. He put a hand on her shoulder and pulled away quickly when she balked under his touch. What could he say? There wasn't any time for him to even try and smooth this out with her, they had to move out now. Come on, Tenten-chan. We've got to get moving. Everything's going to be okay. This was all his fault. He never thought girls would actually get attached to him if he dropped his guard and acted like a spaz around them as opposed to being iceberg cold like part of him wanted to be and he was fully capable of pulling off. They hated him when he was sealed and he was a total airhead then, so how would he know how different they would see him after that? Does Tsunade-bachan even know she's giving me such clusterfuck missions or is it just me? Naruto thought to himself as he and Tenten headed back to the gate. With Naruto, a few moments earlier. After telling the rest of his team to head back to the gate and wait for him, Naruto kicked in the door to a dimly lit small bar with a perturbed look on his face. He saw Yuki Fujike's downing shots like a champ at the counter of the bar, only taking note of the people in the room. Yuki and the bartender, a middle-aged man with short black hair, visibly graying in certain places. Yuki's cheeks were tinted pink to show how under the influence she currently was when her eyes turned to the door and took note of Naruto. Ugh, this kid again. Why do you keep coming after me? Naruto kept a straight face as he sauntered in. Because it's my job, and I'm not really into failing missions. I'm supposed to escort you to Yuki no Kuni and be done with it. It's kind of hard to pull that off when you mace me. I wouldn't try that again, by the way. It won't work twice even if you did actually get me with it this time. She glared at him for a moment before letting it go. Oh, what would a kid like you know about life anyway? Naruto chuckled slightly, sharing a look with the bartender who had a smirk of his own. Oh lady, you have no idea. Now come on, let's get going so that you don't let down your legions of fans by not finishing your movie. Yuki let out a bitter laugh. Actors are the biggest fakes in the world, kid. Naruto blinked and looked at the bartender who was simply cleaning glasses and watching the dialogue between them with an amused grin. Naruto turned back to Yuki. First of all, I tend to avoid hooking up with drunk women as a personal bylaw. Second of all, you wouldn't even know what you were getting yourself into. Now let's go, I'm sure you can take your drinks with you, and I'm paying. Sende is waiting, he's pretty upset right now. All he's worried about is me and his meal ticket. Let someone else play Princess Gale. Movies switch actors' roles all the time. Another actress can take my place in the next movie. I'm not going to Yuki no Kuni no matter what you say. Naruto sighed and sat down at the bar next to Yuki. Yorin, get me a quick shot. Top shelf stuff if you would. The bartender nodded and grabbed what Naruto asked for. Finally decided to quit and let me do what I want. Yuki gloated before downing more alcohol. And you even decided to drink and keep me company. Naruto shook his head, keeping his eyes forward at the bar. Nope, not quite. One shot, no matter how strong it is, won't do anything to me. I'm just drinking so I can get myself ready to be bitched out for what I'm about to do. Before she could ask what he was talking about, another Naruto clone appeared behind her and grabbed a point on her neck, rendering her unconscious, slumped over the counter. Naruto took his shot and swiftly downed it, grimacing at the taste before pulling the money out to pay and dropping it on the counter. He stood up and hoisted Yuki up over his shoulder. Later, Ren. I'll probably be right back here after the mission is over, so I'll see you soon enough. True to his previous thought, Naruto was indeed chewed out once he got Yuki to the front gate. Mostly by Sakura, who only refrained from trying to hit him due to him outranking her and the fact that she still had never forgotten him dropping her with one punch all those years ago. Sandeo almost fainted at seeing the actress out cold. Once the princess was set inside of the carriage intended to transport her, still unconscious, the ninja got everyone moving to the coast, hopefully able to make it there by the end of the day. The group moved surprisingly fast and got to the ship intended to transport them by sunset, where Naruto proceeded to drop the woman he was intended to protect in her cabin on the bed. Naruto shook his head as he looked her over. She was very beautiful, that much was for certain, but her attitude needed a serious adjustment. He was about to leave her until something caught his eye around her neck. He got closer and almost backed away in surprise. No way, the last time I saw that was 10 years ago. He looked at the woman that was out cold and tried to dredge her face up from memory. It is her. Holy shit. Flashback, 10 years ago, Yuki no Kuni, Naruto, age 5. Naruto was sent on a simple mission of reconnaissance to Yuki no Kuni, Land of Snow, by Danzo as his first assignment in order to get his feet wet in the kind of work he was to do. This was intended to supply Danzo with information on what was to go on in the country. The old master of espionage was well informed that there was underlying turmoil being stirred up in the court of the daimyo, even though the man himself was unaware, and Naruto was to bring back info determining whether or not Danzo should send any of his root ninja under the radar to push things along for one side or the other to keep the status quo among the nations. This seemingly easy mission, however, would be the first sign of a pattern of Naruto's propensity for drawing missions that undoubtedly would go sour as soon as he began. Shortly after arriving in the capital city of the country and beginning to record his findings, a ruckus broke out at the daimyo's castle. An entire attacking force made of amassed mercenaries and ninja from a new, small village, Yukigekure, took on the outmatched royal guards of the daimyo. Staying hidden in the shadows the entire time, he forsook taking his notes, and made it a priority to get the hell out of Dodge before he was caught in the crossfire. It wasn't his fight, and he had no reason to stay there any longer. As he made his way out of the city under siege, he saw one of the most famous men his village had ever produced. Gravity-defying hair, face mask covering his nose and lower face, and hideate covering nothing. His single Sharingan eye was out and looking behind him as he drove a sled out of the area with a small girl, 4 years older than Naruto, away from pursuing forces also on sleds. Either get discovered or allow Kakashi Hatake and the girl he was protecting to be caught and maybe killed by the people after him. Kakashi was too valuable to allow to die, and having Konoha fail a mission like this, no matter the circumstances, would undoubtedly have negative economic repercussions for years to come. Naruto pulled a plain white mask over his face and jumped out into the open between the retreating Kakashi and the pursued force. Facing down the enemy of the copy ninja, Naruto made a quick set of hand seals and linked his fists together before pushing them out. Futon, Fujin Saiken, Wind Release, Divine Fist of the Wind God. Naruto shot off a full-power burst of wind from his knuckles, not worried about missing, knowing that they didn't even see him standing in the way, fully focused on Kakashi. The shimmering wind attack hit them all with the blunt force of a brick wall, and at the speed they were moving on sled it might as well have been one, as the concussive force killed everyone it hit on impact. It missed one, however, as he jumped off of the sleds and over the attack, letting his fellow warriors perish from Naruto's jutsu to cover his next move. He rapidly descended and attempted to crush the young root under his heel. Naruto rolled aside and slid to a stop on the surface of the ice. Naruto patiently looked the man over. He had a forehead protector similar to the Nidaime Hokage, only with the insignia of Yukigekure, a gray high ponytail, an odd set of armor, and an arrogant look on his face. He laughed at the diminutive ninja facing off with him. This is what they sent to protect the princess? A baby ninja and copy ninja Kakashi? He stopped laughing and sneered at Naruto. You allowed Kakashi and Princess Koyuki to escape. Dodo-sama will at the very least reward me when I return with your head. Naruto had used a lot of his chakra hoping that he would blow away the entire contingent with that one attack that he got them off guard with. Seeing one had survived didn't really bode well for him, especially since he looked to be a top-flight adversary. He slowly drew the small tipless tanto he was provided early in his career for combat before wordlessly rushing his enemy. The man quickly drew his own kunai to clash against Naruto with when he slashed at him. You're just a little brat playing ninja. Get that useless toy out of my face! Naruto felt himself being pushed back. Even if he wasn't physically inferior to his opponent, he was still only 5 years old. The pure size that the man had over his own was too much of a decisive factor. He learned this the hard way when the man simply held him off with one hand, grabbed his collar, and slung him across the landscape, Naruto's body hitting the solid ground with a thud and sliding to a steady stop. Naruto stood up and lifted his tanto to swiftly block a kunai intended for his chest, only to see his enemy close in. Naruto rolled under the man's lunge and took his legs out from under him with a sudden move. Naruto tried to scramble to his feet only to take a kick to the face from the man that knocked his mask off as he himself picked himself up. Naruto shook the cobwebs of the kick off and saw the Yuki ninja attempt to stab at him with a kunai. Naruto diverted the stab with the tanto, but a grown man being blocked completely by a 5-year-old boy with a little over 1 complete year of training, the best training feasibly possible, yes, and far from being a normal little boy, but still only 1 year of it, and still a little boy, was an impossibility. Naruto still wound up stabbed in the side with the kunai, watching the man smirk as he let out a pained gasp as blood began to flow onto the ground. He weakly elbowed the man off of him, freeing the kunai and spilling even more blood onto the ground, as he weakly held his tanto up despite the blood loss. "You ignorant runt!" the man taunted. "Did you really think you could kill Naruto? I'm the finest ninja Yukigekure has to offer." Naruto finally spoke, as he could feel blood welling up inside of his mouth. "If you're the best at your village then you're lucky I fought you instead of Hataki. I'm only 5. He could see that his comment rose the ire of Nadar, and that wasn't going to do him any favors while he was wounded. "I can't die now. Not on my first mission. I promised Danzojiji I would be the best ninja there ever was. The best don't die like this. Do you want to live, boy?" "What?" "You heard me. Do you want to live?" There was no one else around, but then he remembered what Danzo had told him shortly after his training began. The fox that had attacked the village the day he was born was entrusted to him when the Yondaime sealed it inside of him. Danzo said he could use it as a weapon, but he had never felt anything, until now. "Can you give me enough power to survive this?" The laughter of the demon echoed throughout Naruto's mind and Nadar circled him like a predator. "Give you such a minuscule amount of power just to survive? Why not enough to eradicate this pathetic human in one blow?" "Very well, you asked, you shall receive, just stay alive." Naruto immediately felt his entire body re-energized. The wound on his side faded from a biting pain, to a dull throb, to nothing at all in just seconds. Nadar saw this all as an orange aura began to generate off of his body and proceeded to move into attack before anything else could be done. Naruto slammed his tanto against Nadar's kunai, only this time he held fast. His heart was pumping a mile a minute as he held the larger figure back. He freed one hand, noticing how his nails had sharpened and swiped at the man's exposed face, causing him to recoil in pain and let Naruto slam his fist into his face, sending him flying backwards. Naruto didn't stick around to survey his damage dealt as he took off, in order to leave the country in the midst of its insurgents. End flashback. "Ah, good times," Naruto heard the Kyuubi say inside of his head. Naruto had wandered out onto the deck and sat out there as night fell and everything went still on the ship. "What's going on around here?" he wondered to himself, and to the Kyuubi as it was the only soundboard for any input and ideas. "I can see why she doesn't want to go back to Yuki no Kuni after everything that went down that forced her away, but still." He shut his eyes and thought. "It's just for the movie. Once the movie's done she can leave. As long as no one recognizes her then she'll be fine." "Who'll be fine?" Naruto turned and saw Tenten walking up to him. "You've been out here for a while." Naruto sighed. "Meh, don't worry about it. By the way, in case anything goes down you're second in command." Tenten blinked before narrowing her eyes. "This isn't a way for you to get on my good side, is it?" "Is it working?" Naruto quipped before getting serious. "No, it has to be you because you have more experience than Sakura, and while Sai has way more experience than you, he's not one for leading squads if you get my drift." He looked around. "Where are Sakura and Sai anyway?" Tenten pointed behind her. "Below deck. Me and Sakura were talking for a while with the rest of the film crew, and all of that. Sai went off on his own, writing stuff in a notebook. He's kind of odd, isn't he?" Naruto laughed slightly. "Everybody's got quirks. At least he isn't ranting about youth or fate." Tenten nodded and stared out at the sea along with Naruto for a while before speaking. "So you said we were going to talk later. Well, it's later now, isn't it?" "It is." He still wanted to wait until the mission was over, but Tenten was a very stubborn girl, the kind he tended to attract. Kami, how did he not see this coming? Naruto rubbed his jaw and spoke. "Okay then. You want to talk? Let's talk. Go ahead and fire away, Tenten-chan, and I'll tell you what I can." Tenten looked at him intently. "You had sex with that Taiuya girl next door to you?" Naruto nodded. "Yeah. She wanted it, I didn't back down. Why would I have? I'm 15 and it was sex, with Taiuya, who is really, really hot once you get past the attitude and the swearing. And I would do it again too, I care about her a lot." Tenten frowned. "And Hamiko, your assistant? Helper? What is she?" Naruto shrugged. "I don't know. Assistant sounds good. Although it could double as girlfriend now though if she has anything to say about it." Tenten raised an eyebrow at him. "You did her too?" Shaking his head rapidly, Naruto disputed her claim. "No, I haven't. Not yet anyway, I should say. I care about her a lot too. She's the only link to my family and clan that I have, and I'm the same to her. I would never leave Hamiko-chan alone, not after what she told me." Naruto locked eyes with Tenten. "She told me she loved me. Not like a brother, not like a benefactor, legit loved me. He noticed Tenten look down in defeat. And she isn't the only one. Tenten let out a sigh. So you finally got it, did you? Naruto nodded. Yeah. Temari-chan does too, so does Yugi-chan, so do you. Wait. Tenten's head snapped back up. Other girls like you too? Naruto could only scratch his head in confusion. It's just as weird to me as it is to you. Yugi-chan is from Kumo though. I swear I'm seriously not trying to do all of this stuff, it just happens when I go places. I don't want to hurt you or any of these women, how can I pick? Tenten stared at him before a smile crossed her face. So the only one you have is Hamiko for sure, right? Since she's bonded to your clan no matter what? Naruto nodded. Tenten then moved in and kissed him on the cheek. Well then I'd better get myself in gear and put my name in for consideration, shouldn't I? Naruto stared at her vacantly. What? Tenten giggled. You just said that you don't really have a girlfriend, that you and Taiya only had sex for the fun of it. You're still on the market as far as I'm concerned, and I'm not letting this drop. You will be mine, Naruto-kun, count on it. With that, Tenten confidently stood up and walked back inside, making a show of waving her backside as she vanished, leaving Naruto by himself outside. Naruto stood staring at where Tenten had just been walking for upwards of 2 minutes before talking. Wait a minute. What the hell just happened? The Kyuubi was laughing maniacally in Naruto's head. For such a powerful human, you sure are whipped by the females in your life, boy. Naruto growled audibly at the Kyuubi's taunts before he stopped and thought, hey, did you just actually vocally admit I'm one of the most powerful people in the world? Kyuubi stopped laughing abruptly. No, I mean, Sai, shut up, Kit. Naruto grinned and looked back out at the ocean. Ah, Kyuubi, I love you too, you big fur ball of amassed violence and hatred. I really can't wait to eat you. The powerful entity growled inside of his container. The next day had the team on basic guard duty while the film crew shot the scenes that they were able to on the ship. Having never seen one of her movies before, Naruto had to admit that Yuki really was a fantastic actor. Now if only that translated over into her having a great personality, there would be something there. Honestly, he was more surprised that she wasn't visibly hungover from all the drinking she had done yesterday. She's like a completely different person once the cameras turn on, Sakura commented from nearby, getting a nod out of Naruto. That's Yuki, the director commented. Once it's time to play that character, there's no one like her in the world. She was born to do this role. Naruto turned towards the area away from the chute to see Sai, leaning on the railing of the ship with his notebook out. How are you holding up, Sai? Sai turned his attention to Naruto. Just fine, Naruto-senpai, though I am learning much about interaction between others from you. For instance, ... Naruto cut him off before he could say a word. Tenten raising an amused eyebrow as she heard what Sai was saying. Sai Kohai, I have not handled a single personal relationship the right way since this mission has started. At all. Everything I did yesterday, absolutely everything, it would be better for you if you just forgot that it ever happened. How long have you been taking notes? Sai flipped back in his book to the indicated point. Since the point in time where you drank with Fujike-san to diffuse her temper in order to ease the difficulty to have your way with her, allowing her to drop her guard and let you get close. He stared at Naruto expressionlessly, blinking at regular intervals. Naruto deadpanned a look at Sai, opening his mouth before thinking on it and trying to speak again. Okay, that actually works depending on exactly what kind of personal relations you're aiming for. However, that is a whole nother conversation I don't feel like having here in the open. Naruto turned to the others only to see Tenten smirking and Sakura shaking her head with a dry look on her face. Oi, quit gawking! You ain't being paid to look at me. And Sakura, do you really think you can do a better job teaching Sai about relationships? Sakura had a smile come onto her face from the banter. Better than you, I'm sure. Really? Naruto said, getting into the spirit. Well, let's backtrack, shall we? In the academy you basically threw your best friend away for a guy that showed no interest at the age of 10. 10! You just now got around to fixing that not too long ago, and that's probably because the guy had issues and left the village, thus taking away the point of your conflict. And don't even get me started on Sasuke team himself, because that's about 2 hours of griping right there. You tried to fuck anything with legs and a uterus. Sakura shot back. I thought you weren't a pervert? She said tauntingly. Naruto frowned. Okay, I'm somewhat a pervert, but in my defense I never had a chance. Look who all of my most prominent sensei were. Kakashi Hatake and Jiraiya of the Sannin. One reads porn everywhere he goes, blatantly and brazenly. The other writes said porn among other unscrupulous activities. I'm well balanced by comparison, which is weird because the way I live and as strong as I am you would think that I would have some extreme quirk at some point, right? He then stopped and snapped back. Hey, I don't try to fuck anything with legs and a uterus. I've only ever done it once. He sniffed haughtily. And I haven't tried to fuck you yet, have I? Yes, you have, she said dryly. I count all of the stuff you did when we were first genin as you trying to fuck me. Naruto gave her a perplexed look. You thought I was trying to fuck you back then? I barely understood what that implied until right after the Chunin exams. I just wanted to date you. I was simple like that. I figured that was the pinnacle of what I was going to get out of you. What made you think all I wanted was to fuck you? He looked her over. Though now I might be considering it. You filled out quite a bit, Sakura. Sakura gaped at Naruto before growling with a flustered face. Nah, are you too? Naruto shook his finger at her chidingly. Superior officer standing here. I'm not one to abuse my power, but in this case I'm more than willing to as long as you don't hit me. Hey! We've got a scene going here. The director snapped at Naruto and Sakura. Sorry. Both of them said before Sakura went to silently fuming at Naruto. Tenten noticed Sai writing dutifully in his notebook and looked over to see what he was doing. What are you writing in there? Sai simply read back what he had been writing. Friends tease and provoke one another by bringing up negative character traits that distinguish them as well as bring up examples from the past that serve little other purpose than points of humor. Also, friends of opposite sex tease one another with innuendo-laden remarks and suggestions, such as what Naruto-senpai did with Ugly over there. Tenten's sweat dropped. Yeah. I wouldn't try that with anyone if I were you. People don't like being called derogatory names like ugly. That's no way to make friends. Sai simply looked at the bun-haired girl. Well, I understand that nicknames are a way to endear yourself to the people around you. If that is the case, and going along with all of the other things I've learned thus far, I think have a name for Naruto-senpai. You do? Tenten asked. This Sai guy was totally weird. Did he really not know anything about other people? What is it then? Tenten moved her ear closer to Sai so that he could whisper the name to her. Tenten choked back a laugh and patted Sai on the back. I would keep that to myself at least until we're done with the mission. It might disrupt things if you start calling him that. Sai gave her one of his smiles. Okay, Bungirl. Bungirl? Tenten asked herself before remembering her hairstyle. Well, he might not be totally clueless at the name-giving thing. The crew and the ninja protection detail disembarked from the ship on the side of a massive glacier. As the crew took to setting up the lights and sets for the shots, the director ran around manically. Yes. This is absolutely perfect for the fight scene I have written out. Who says that going on location to shoot is dead? As the fight scene began being filmed, an explosion rocked the glacier, causing a slab to crack from the top of it towards the crew. Naruto narrowed his eyes and sprang into action, jumping in front of everyone and making his hand seals before linking his fists together and thrusting them out. Futon, Fujin Saiken, Wind Release, Divine Fist of the Wind God. Naruto viciously smashed the chunks of ice to harmless powder with the force his jutsu hit the debris with. Get into standard defense formation! Naruto knew his allies were astute and learned enough to know the simple formation and was not disappointed when they immediately backed him up. It's just like last time. Yuki began to panic as the chaos started building. I should never have come back here again. She began to run off in no particular direction, getting a growl out of Naruto for making his particular job that much more difficult. Sakura! Naruto barked. Go get Yuki and get her back to the ship. Keep watch over her until this is all over. Sakura nodded and went after her to fulfill Naruto's order. As Sakura drew near Yuki, a large man on a snowboard quickly bared down on both women. Tenten saw this and broke formation to cut him off. She quickly brought out a scroll and produced a large metal sphere spiked with kunai welded into it that she threw into the man's path before it suddenly exploded. Showing a great amount of navigational skill on his board, the man dodged all of the shrapnel and debris from Tenten's ball. Well, I remember that jutsu. Naruto's eyes turned red and slitted for a moment, as his memory dredged up recollection of who the voice belonged to. I remember that face too. Suddenly appearing in front of Naruto and Sai was the Yuki Nin from Naruto's last escapade in Yuki no Kuni. It's good to see you again, boy. From the looks of your face, the years haven't treated you too kindly, have they? Naruto scoffed. Look who's talking. Although I guess you wouldn't mention the little gift I left you the first time we met, would you? Naruto was referring to a small vertical scar right under the man's right eye. The glare he got for that remark settled him down enough to get Sai in order. Saiko go back up Tenten-chan. This is their squad leader. Sai nodded and rushed off to take on Tenten's adversary alongside her. Now Nadar, Naruto said as he set himself in a fighting stance. Let's get to round 2, shall we? I have a habit of paying back all of the few bastards that left scars on me when I was kid. Lucky you were the first one that did, and you're also the last one left alive. Not for long, though. Nadar put his hand out expectantly. Just hand over the princess, punk. You couldn't beat me then, you can't beat me now. Princess? Naruto feigned ignorance. But the only princess here is an actress that plays a princess in movies. You might be able to get an autograph though, but I doubt it, she's kind of a bitch. Nadar narrowed his eyes. You were there? You can't tell me you don't recognize Yuki as Princess Koiki. He let out a short laugh. Still a brat that doesn't know any better. Nadar taunted. Yuki Gekure has made some improvements over the last 10 years that you couldn't imagine. You won't get a lucky shot in on me again the way you did last time. Funny, Naruto said as his face turned stone serious. That was going to be my line. With that, Naruto lowered his center of gravity and rushed at Nadar, who immediately jumped back out of his hand-to-hand range. With Sai swiftly made his way over to Tenten. However, before he could get to her, he found himself trapped once a pillar of ice encased his body, freezing him solid. A woman in a gray winter hat with 2 pink pigtails sticking out the side appeared with a smirk on her face. Hairen no Jutsu, Ice Prison Jutsu. Sai's body suddenly turned to ink within the pillar. The woman then found herself forced to dodge a swing of Sai's tanto as he appeared behind her. As she got away from Sai's surprise attack, she sneered at him. You're rather talented to avoid that in the blink of an eye like that. Sai said nothing and pulled his scroll from his back. The Yuki Kunoichi made a tiger seal as a burst of ice flew up around her and took the form of miniature swallows. Hayatan, Tsubame Fubuki, Ice Release, Swallow Snow Storm. The sharp-winged projectiles scattered about before focusing in a straight line at Sai. Sai drew out his brush and special scroll. Chuji Giga, Super Beast Imitation Picture. Sai quickly drew a gigantic leech, 3 times Sai's size, that covered his body, taking the brunt of the attack from the enemy jutsu as it riddled the leech's body. It eventually turned to ink and dripped to the ground, revealing Sai had vanished again. The woman licked her lips. Cute and somewhat talented. With Tenten. Tenten threw a salvo of kunai and shuriken at the large man, but instead of impaling him on contact, they simply bounced off of his body. The man barreled on through her attack on his snowboard and slammed his body into her, sending her sprawling through the snow. The man laughed as Tenten stood up, glaring at him. Your little projectiles won't get anywhere near me as long as I have my chakra armor on and active. Chakra armor? Tenten said distastefully. What a useless shortcut. The large man simply laughed at her. Say that when I'm alive and you're dead. He placed his right arm out at Tenten and seemingly fired it out at her when she realized that it was a weapon. She dodged the hand that flew past her and grabbed into the ground, but when she turned back towards her opponent, he was coming right for her, being pulled in by a cable attached to the hand behind her. Tenten quickly summoned a katana to avoid being smashed into fully by the man's metal snowboard. It did still make impact with her and send her sliding through the snow once more. Tenten rolled through to her feet this time, getting angry at this person. He wasn't even really that good, but he was troublesome to try and fight with her style. He could ignore her projectiles for the most part, and just run right through to attack her. This guy was seriously getting under her skin with the way he was just snowboarding all over the place. He wasn't even moving that fast. The markswoman in her just wanted to fill his slow ass with projectiles and be done with it, but that damn armor was in the way. She was about to seriously test that crap out and see who had the better tools. With Naruto. Naruto was sick of Nadar playing keep away with him, getting him to finally back off. Here's a throwback for you, Futon, Fujin Saiken, Wind Release, Divine Fist of the Wind God. Naruto fired off one of his oldest and most favored ninjutsu at Nadar, who simply allowed it to hit him flush before it simply dispersed in front of an odd-colored shield of light. What? Nadar smirked. Like I said, Yukigekure has made improvements that you couldn't even imagine, boy. Our chakra armor is the pinnacle of shinobi technological research. Hearing this didn't faze Naruto at all. Then I'll just have to break it, won't I? If you think you can, go ahead and try it. Nadar began making a set of hand seals. Hayatan, Haryamuko, Ice Release, Tearing Dragon, Fierce Tiger. From the ice surrounding the field of battle, a massive dragon-bodied tiger formed and went at Naruto. Naruto moved and the jutsu crashed harshly into the glacier, quaking the surface and cracking it from the collision. He still wasn't safe, however. As the tiger penetrated the surface and continued its pursuit, it came so close to his body the temperature dropped immediately. If it had hit him, it would have flash frozen him. While the respective battles were raging on, the director was screaming at his crew to get all of this on film, saying it was better than any script. Dodging this tiger was beginning to utterly piss Naruto off. He turned towards Nadar and saw him holding his hands in his last seal. Grinning widely at what he saw as a sitting duck, Naruto began rushing straight towards Nadar, choosing to completely ignore the tiger altogether. Nadar saw Naruto coming and pumped more chakra into the jutsu, speeding up the tiger, adding more mass to it, and putting more force behind it. It crashed right into the ground behind Naruto's feet, drudging up a cloud of powder snow and ice chunks. Nadar smirked as he felt the glacier begin to collapse from his jutsu. There was no way the kid walked away from that. His party was short-lived, however, when the blonde figure of his hatred flew out of the cloud of snow and delivered a jaw-shattering punch that sent Nadar's body flying before smacking roughly against a wall of ice. Naruto goaded Nadar from a distance as the glacier started to split. "I thought you said I wasn't going to sucker punch you again?" He could feel the place coming down around them, getting him to glare at Nadar, who had picked himself up, rubbing his red jaw. "You're lucky." Naruto started making his way back to the ship, yelling around for his partners. "Saikohai, Tenten-chan! This place is going down, we need to get out of here!" Tenten looked back at a retreating Naruto and narrowed her eyes at her opponent. "You'd better hope we don't see you again." The man grinned at her untastefully as Nadar called out to his own squad to fall back. "Mizore, Fubuki! With me!" The woman, Fubuki, ceased her battle with Sai and winked at the boy before making her way to her leader. "I'll see you later, cutie." Sai simply blinked and stared emotionlessly before moving to get back to the ship with the rest of his team. Naruto, Tenten, and Sai reconvened on board, where they watched the glacier quickly break apart into small chunks and sink. Naruto sighed and slumped against the siding. "Too many X factors, or else I would have torn that asshole apart." He looked at himself and noticed the back of his arms, legs, and torso had a layer of ice on it. "That last jutsu must have been closer than I thought." Tenten frowned. "You're not the only one. That stupid giant with the armor. I was about to put him under." "The glacier was unstable," Sai commented. Naruto nodded. "That was the only thing keeping me from tearing Nadar to pieces. Using anything high level enough to maybe get through his armor would have done just as much damage as the idiot's last attack, if not more. It would have definitely taken the glacier out if I had used it." Naruto shrugged. "Oh well, he wasn't worth it anyway." Sakura came running up to her team. "Are you guys alright?" Naruto blinked before looking at his fingertips and toes. "Can you cure frostbite, Sakura?" Omake, lost missions too. During the border patrol mission, 1 year prior, Naruto and Tenten were seated in the lookout tower of the border outpost. Their group of them, Neji, Rock Lee, and Shikamaru, were stationed at for the month, along with 20 other ninja that were out and about or scattered along the base. Naruto was seated all the way across the space from Tenten, holding up a kunai by the blade and waving it around right as a second kunai from across the way hit Naruto's kunai right through the ring. Naruto looked and whistled at the accuracy of the throw. "Damn, Tenten-chan, if I wasn't so sure that you wouldn't spike me with that damn thing, I might have been weary of letting you do this. That makes you 22 for 22, point well proven, you own me in accuracy." Tenten stood up and proudly walked over to Naruto to retrieve her kunai. "I wasn't blowing smoke when I said I would, Naruto-kun." Naruto nodded before snorting and looking away. "I still dominate you with a sword, though." Tenten got a tick mark on her head, much to Naruto's amusement. "Hit a sore spot there, did I now?" "Says the guy that lost his own sword in the middle of a fight once," Tenten said as she pulled out a scroll and quickly summoned a katana. Naruto raised an eyebrow. "You aren't seriously going to dash dot?" He was cut off when he had to draw his own ninjato to keep from being split vertically by the bun-haired kunoichi. Naruto blocked and began to push back as he kept sitting in his chair. "I don't think we should be doing this right now, we're going to get busted for this." Tenten smiled as she continued to push against Naruto's sword. "Shikamaru is with Neji, he won't be very motivated to finish his rounds quickly, and Neji won't be able to make him go any faster. Lee is on his own, so once he finishes his rounds he'll probably head out to do more for some reason." "Good points," Naruto mentioned as he continued to defend. He sat back and placed the bottom of his foot on the back of his sword before kicking it, generating enough force to throw Tenten off of him. Tenten stumbled back as Naruto fell backwards out of the chair, and ran back towards him to keep fighting. Naruto quickly stood up and kicked the chair at Tenten, hitting her in the legs and getting her to trip up right into Naruto's grasp, who disarmed her and performed an over-the-shoulder toss that took the air out of her, letting him put his body weight on top of her as he held his sword to her throat. "But I can think of way better things we can do with this free time than fighting." He stared at Tenten, who began to fluster under such an intense gaze. "Huh, you have really pretty eyes, Tenten-chan." Tenten blushed at being complimented so intently by a boy that was right on top of her. Why you too, Naruto-kun?" Naruto grinned and got up off of Tenten, helping the girl to her feet as he set his sword over his shoulder. "Thanks. I don't really hear too many compliments, you know. We can spar this evening when it's our group's turn to take a break." Tenten remained anxious around Naruto. That sounds good. What the hell is wrong with me? She tried to look anywhere but at Naruto when her eyes rested on his sword. Wait, that's new. You have a new sword? Naruto looked at the blade over his shoulder before holding it out for her to see. Oh yeah? This is the Senenki no Ken, it's an old heirloom of my clan, it's a long story. However, Tenten wasn't concerned about that at the moment. Naruto had to pull the weapon back before. You can't touch it! A sparkly-eyed Tenten pulled her hand back empty without Naruto's sword in hand. Mao, why not Naruto-kun? What wrong with me touching it? She said with a pouty face. Naruto looked at her face. Wow, that's a really cute look. He cleared that thought. You can look but you can't touch, it's my most personal piece of hardware. It's basically in my genetics. Tenten moved closer to him, prompting Naruto to hold the sword overhead out of her reach while he kept his hand on her head to keep her from jumping up. Come on, Naruto-kun, something like that is meant for others to enjoy. Naruto let out a laugh. Yeah, it's really enjoyable when I shove this thing into someone. You should see when I pull it out too. Naruto shook his head. You couldn't handle this thing, Tenten-chan. Tenten's face furrowed in anger, taking that as an insult. I'll have you know that women like me were born to handle things like this. You're right, some are. Too bad for you, you're not one of them. He was referencing the fact that it was an Uzumaki heirloom. Naruto gave her a challenging look. I'll believe it when I see it. Fine, Tenten said with a grin. You'll see right now. With that, she tackled Naruto to the ground and started trying to wrestle his sword away from him. Outside of the lookout room on the stairwell, two Konoha shinobi were frozen in place at the door to the room with their ears to the door and blood trailing down their noses. They had been standing there ever since Naruto had said, "It's a long story." Tenten grunted loudly from inside. Give it to me, Naruto-kun! I thought you could take it. Naruto taunted right after she spoke, crashes and bumps sounding out all throughout. Call me Naruto-sama and I might lighten up. Do your worst, Tenten said. You won't break me. She grunted in effort before cursing loudly. Damn it, why are you so big? That was all the poor eavesdroppers could take as they blacked out and fell halfway down the flight of stairs. Omake, Kage Bunshin Chronicles 3. Naruto stared across a desk with half-lidded eyes that were steadily shutting quickly. He caught himself and snapped his eyes wide open with a hard slap to his own face. Give it up, Tsunade-bachan, I'm better than you. It's that simple. Tsunade gave Naruto a look much like the one she was giving him. You're a few decades too soon to be trying to outdrink me, brat. Tsunade snapped her fingers. Shizune, fill us up again. Shizune stood off to the side with a container of sake and a sweat drop on her head. Tsunade-sama, I don't think a drinking contest with an underage subordinate is such a good idea. And Naruto-kun, you shouldn't be getting drunk like this, it's not good for you. She had been sitting there watching her master and her surrogate little brother throw back drinks for the better part of 2.5 hours. What had started as allowing Tsunade a reward for finishing her work so efficiently degenerated into a competition once Naruto had randomly ambled into the office. After heading home and returning with a ridiculous amount of alcohol for any 15-year-old to have, he began to engage Tsunade in a game of the drink. Naruto slapped his hand on the table hard. Oh, I'm not as think as you drunk I am. Now you heard Bachan Shizune Nichin, fill it up again. He finished loudly, holding his saucer out for her to fill. Eager to get put under the table, brat? Tsunade wisecracked as Shizune topped them both off. I outdrink Jiraiya on a regular basis, what makes you think that you can put me down? Naruto didn't answer, he simply smashed his fist on the desk and grabbed his drink before tossing it back down his throat in one go, followed by Tsunade doing the same. Both of them held the saucers up with both of their heads tilted back before Tsunade fell backwards out of her seat onto the ground, snoring with a content look on her face. Naruto lowered his head and saucer, swaying in place for a moment before shakily standing up and walking over to Tsunade, nudging the unresponsive Hokage with his foot. I think I can put you down because I'm not really Naruto. With that, Naruto fell backwards and disappeared in a puff of smoke once he hit the ground. Shizune was visibly gaping at what she had just seen. She rubbed her temple and sat down where Naruto had been sitting before pouring herself some sake of her own. I need a drink. Naruto was seated out on the deck of the ship by himself, just looking out at the ocean when a memory hit him. Damn it! He scowled. My Kage Bunshin and Tsunade-bachan drank all my sake. He held his head and growled. And I get the hangover effect? Fucking stupid clones. He stood up and headed inside. Sakura! Can you do Shizune Nichin's hangover cure? Chapter 36, Self-Esteem. As Sandayo was fretting over Yuki, now definitely ousted as Koiki Kazuhana, and the director was inside alongside his assistant drooling over the action scenes he had shot due to the battle that had just taken place, Sakura was busy trying to get feeling back into Naruto's fingers. The last jutsu that Nadar used against him didn't hit, but the sheer cold it produced from simply being in its vicinity was enough to give him frostbite. Lucky for him, he had a medic nin on his squad, or else he might have been out of luck when it came to his fingers and toes, especially since they were in Yuki no Kuni, and it wasn't going to suddenly get all warm and pleasant outside in this country. "Hey Sakura," Naruto said as they sat inside of the main trailer of the expedition through Yuki no Kuni with all of the others. He got a him in response, letting him know she was listening as she used Shaozen Jutsu, Mystical Palm Jutsu. "I know a better way to get my hands warm. It doesn't cost chakra either." Sakura's head turned up from her work on his fingers. "What?" Naruto looked away innocently. "You could just let me put my hands under your shirt. You know, body heat." Sakura gave him an even look with a tick mark on her head. "You're a pervert." Naruto placed his fingers slightly apart and mouthed out a little bit. Sakura's brow twitched as a dark smirk came to her face. "Tsunade Shursho taught me how to deal with perverts like you." "Please." Naruto rolled his eyes. "Just because Ero-sennin trained me up a bit doesn't mean that I took on his habit of standing still when an ass-kicking was about to come his way." Sakura gave him a sickeningly sweet smile. "Maybe, but you are currently sitting here with your hands in my grip." Naruto's face paled as he tried pulling them free only to find them stuck fast. "So watch yourself from now on, okay, Taicho?" Naruto gave her a stiff nod. "You got it, Sakura." "Good," Sakura chirped as she tugged on his cheek. Naruto sighed in relief when she stood up and walked away from him. "Okay, do not do that stuff with Sakura, she does not find it cute in any way." He started flexing his fingers out. "Sakura did really good work. Why did the idea of her pummeling me actually turn me on though? Kami, there's something wrong with me. Erokyofu's roots run deeper than I thought." Naruto's thoughts were cut short when Sai and Tenten entered the room and sat down at the table. Naruto, getting in the spirit of the predicament as team leader, put his proverbial game face on. "What do you guys have for me?" Sai immediately responded. "We didn't find them, Naruto-senpai. The glacier sank not long after the ship got out of sight. They weren't there anymore." Tenten took a seat at the table. "Who were those guys anyway?" Naruto answered her. "Ninja from the hidden village of Yukigekure. And they're here for Yuki, or should I say Princess Koyoki. And you knew this the whole time, didn't you, Sandaya?" Sandaya's eyes widened. "How did you possibly know, Naruto-san? You couldn't possibly know anything about our country and what has transpired over the years, you're too young." Naruto crossed his arms and leaned back in his chair. "It's a story that you don't want to hear right now, but that's not important right now. You had to know that this was totally dangerous bringing her back here at all, identity change or not." Sandaya sighed. "You're right, but it was the only way I could think of to get the princess back to Yuki no Kuni," he said despondently. Sakura looked over to Koyoki, who was in the corner of the room with a cold look on her face. "So Yuki Fujikaze is a real-life princess of an entire country? And Sandayu is from Yuki no Kuni as well?" "Yes," the middle-aged man admitted. "When she was just a little girl I was her aide, before the revolt. I don't blame her for not remembering who I was. It was far too long ago and there were far more important things about than me." He adjusted his glasses. "I served the princess's father, the former daimyo of the country Susetsu Kazuhana. We were a peaceful nation. Susetsu-sama adored his daughter and was beloved by our people, but then the lord's younger brother Dodo staged a revolt. The palace was burned to the ground and I feared the princess had perished with her father and the palace." He then looked over at Naruto. "But how do you know anything about our princess? Konoha had nothing to do with our nation except for the one man that was there for negotiations on the day of the revolt." Naruto's eyes darted to Sai, who let out a near unnoticeable nod. "Fine," Naruto said. "I was there too." That got a round of gasps from everyone in the room except Sai. Even Koyoki, surprise showed on her face at hearing that her bodyguard had seen her already. Sandayu almost had a heart attack. "Why, you were there? But that was 10 years ago, you couldn't have been any older than 5 years old." "Yep," Naruto said as if it didn't matter. "I was 5. Oh, don't give me that look, Kakashi-sensei was a chunin at 6, is it really so hard to believe that I was training at 5? "Kind of, yeah," Sakura said matter-of-factly. "What the hell were you doing in this country back then? What kind of training does a 5-year-old do in a foreign country, and who the hell sent you out here when you were 5? She and Tenten were both interested in this. It had been years since Naruto had gotten exponentially powerful, but for Sakura especially, after seeing the goofy blonde she had become accustomed to as a child in the academy, it was hard to grasp that he did anything like that before showing up in school. Naruto had a blank look on his face that could give Sai a run for his money. I was gathering intel on Yuki no Kuni's situation to take back to my sensei to see if he needed to bring up a point to lend the country assistance. The coup happened when I was still here, there was nothing I could do. His face was somewhat apologetic. All I could do was make sure that Kakashi-sensei, who was here, could get away with Koyuki. Who was your sensei? Tenten asked inquisitively. Don't worry about it, Naruto responded. Sai let on that he could talk, he didn't let on just how much he was allowed to say, so he was going to keep Danzo's name out of it. They wouldn't flat out know who he was talking about even if he told them, and they sure didn't need to know. How did you help Kakashi-sensei get away? Sakura tried her own hand at asking a question. That was apparently the right question to ask, as Naruto was willing to answer it. The team leader that fought us this time, Nadaroga. Back then I had to fight him long enough for Kakashi-sensei to get away with the princess. If it weren't for my buddy on the inside, he would have killed me. Sakura's breath hitched. You mean the dash? Naruto nodded, getting a shiver out of her. Even though Naruto was still Naruto, it was hard to imagine such a thing trapped inside of his body. It was a good idea he wasn't in Konoha when Tsunade released that information. It took time for a lot of people to get used to that knowledge that didn't already know. The knowledge that Naruto contained the Kyuubi no Yoko. Not your buddy brat. The Kyuubi growled from within him, heard only by Naruto himself. I still fully intend to eat you once you overstep your bounds. Still looking forward to kicking your sorry ass all over the fake Konoha in my head too, furball. Naruto focused back on the real world and his human companions. Yeah, anyway, we fought until I had bought enough time and I got away myself. I never learned what happened to Koyuki after that. It's interesting. I should have died back then. Everyone turned to face Koyuki, who was looking away lifelessly. Sanday moved towards her. You shouldn't say such things, princess, he exclaimed. Everyone feared the worst for you. You can't imagine the panic that went up in your absence. We never stopped praying for your safety. Well, you can stop praying now, Sandayu, Koyuki said. I'm alive, as you can see, it's just my heart that's dead, she said solemnly. That day all those years ago, any tears that I had left dried all up. Sanday had to wipe his own eyes hearing his princess speak in such a defeated manner. Eventually I found the princess under her new identity and became her manager, and have since been biding my time for the day when I could escort her back to her country. The director's assistant spoke up. So you've been using us the entire time? I apologize for deceiving you, but it was for the sake of our people. Sanday turned to Koyuki and bowed on his hands and knees. Koyuki-hime, please confront Doto and take your rightful place as leader of our land. I will sacrifice myself without hesitation to protect you, so I beg you, please take up arms and lead our people. I don't think so, Koyuki said indignantly. You've got to be kidding. But, Sanday stammered. What about your people? We need you, Koyuki-hime. I could care less about them. Just forget it, you'll only get yourself killed in the end, she argued vehemently. Would you give it up already? Don't be stupid, it doesn't matter what you do, you will never get rid of Doto. Well, Naruto said, we're already here, and we're supposed to stay and protect her until the movie is done, so who feels like taking down a tyrant? Naruto asked his team. Tenten smirked and cracked her knuckles. You know it, Naruto-kun, I wanted a second shot at that hulking loser from the glacier anyway. Sai simply stood in place. I'm to follow your lead, Naruto-senpai. You've got my support. Sakura smiled. Yeah, how could we just let things lie the way they are? Of course we'll fight. Are you all insane? Koyuki shouted at the band of shinobi and kunoichi. Doto will massacre you all. You can't beat him. Naruto scoffed and rolled his eyes. Lady, combat is what I'm good at. Sucky odds are just an inconvenience. I'm the best and I specialize in the ridiculous. Don't count any of us out. Everyone on my squad is ready for this. He stood up out of his chair. A little chakra armor isn't enough of an ace in the hole to beat us. Not by a long shot. He looked over at his people. Can you guys get through it? Absolutely, Tenten said with full confidence. I was just about to when you called us back to the ship. Sai nodded his head. I'm certain I can find a way around it. Sakura smiled and punched her fist into her open palm. I'll turn it into scrap if I end up fighting one of them this time. The director started speaking quietly. As long as there's hope, there is a dream. As long as there is a dream, there is a future. This is perfect. What a perfect theme for the final chapter of the Princess Gale movie. Sakura looked at him with a sweat drop. Are you seriously going to keep filming after everything that's happened? The director nodded with self-assurance. I told you all back at the glacier, the movie's simply evolving. I mean, just think about it. How often do you get to make a movie with real princess? This is the opportunity of a lifetime here. You're right. The director's assistant started liking the idea more and more as the realization set in. The buzz is going to be enormous. Even the making of will be a hit. We're sitting on a surefire blockbuster here. Hey! Koiki shouted, only to be cut off by Sai of all people. There's only one course of action available to us in the current situation, the usually quiet teen said firmly. Now that Doto has discovered your identity, you will never be allowed reprieve. The only option is to fight to get through this. Naruto stated the changed status of the mission. So in addition to keeping the princess here in one piece, we also need to finish off Doto, otherwise this thing is never going to end. Koiki got progressively angrier listening to everyone. Stop joking! This isn't some movie, there's no such thing as a happy ending. The director shouted right back, his mood noticeably far better though. Of course there is if you're willing to fight for it. Naruto called Saiyan close. Is there any way you can send one of your ink animals back to Konoha, or are they not fast enough? Sai shook his head. No, by the time they would manage to get there everything here would be over with anyway. It would be pointless, Naruto-senpai. Naruto frowned but nodded. Well, it should still be just fine. Nadar is Doto's heavy hitter, and even he shouldn't be too much trouble once I get past that armor of his. You and the girls are more than enough for this. He then spoke up to Sandeu. Well, this is seriously stretching the limits of the contract, but I hate leaving business unfinished. You've got us for as long as this lasts. Sandeu spoke quietly with tears in his eyes. All of you, thank you so much. The director looked at the scene eagerly. Oh yeah, that settles it, we're definitely going along with this picture. And you can bet this one will have a happy ending, the assistant said. The entire time Koiki was looking at everyone in the room with a sense of utter detachment. For the next few hours as the caravan traveled, Naruto and his team came up with a plan of action for who would be fighting who in case Nadar's team decided to attack again. Per the requests of everyone else, the dynamic didn't change too much. Everyone wanted the chance to finish their own battles from before, especially Tenten, who saw the use of chakra armor as a cop-out way to fight, even for a ninja. The contingent came to a stop outside of a cave as directed by Sandeu. Our hideout is not far from here. It is just beyond this cave. Once we've finished shooting here, we will pass through to the other side, and then my people can rest easy with the fact that they have their princess back. He was visibly excited about having Koiki back in the country. The director was completely agreeable with this. It would probably bring some good footage. Alright then people, let's get this show on the road. Director, there's a problem, the director's assistant shouted. Yuki has up and vanished again. Naruto palmed his face upon hearing that. Stupid bitch. She's seriously testing me here. How do you protect someone that seems to have a death wish? A small black rat ran up Naruto's leg and into his hand before turning into words. And Sai is still awesome. With that, Naruto shined away from the caravan. Sakura looked around with her hands on her hips. Where is Naruto? We need to find the princess. Tenten shrugged. He was just here not too long ago. Naruto-senpai is handling the situation, Sai said, scaring both girls with his presence on top of one of the trailers. He was drawing absently in his notepad while speaking. He should be back shortly. Koiki was frantically running through a snowy forest away from her crew as fast as she could. There's no way. Absolutely not. I won't go back there. She was so intent on running she failed to notice herself slip in the snow and fall downhill until coming to a stop. She simply lay down there, unmoving with her eyes slowly drifting closed. You lied to me, father. There is no spring in this country. After a short while she opened her eyes to the sound of footsteps only to find herself staring at a pair of shinobi sandals. Her vision turned upwards to see Naruto standing over her. You know, I've done my fair share of both, and I have to say, it feels better when you face down your problems instead of running away all of the time. Now let's go, everyone's waiting. Naruto picked her up piggyback and carried her back towards the others. This has turned into a fine clusterfuck, hasn't it, princess? He said in a conversational manner. Maybe next time you should shoot your movies somewhere like in Suki no Kuni or Oni no Kuni. You never hear about this kind of stuff happening there. Why did you even bother coming after me? Koiki said as she put up no resistance to being carried by Naruto. And how the hell do you even keep finding me? Naruto laughed to himself. Because it's my job. Even if I didn't want to, I would still do it, and I can find you because me and the people I'm working with are good, and I just so happen to be the best. Koiki smiled slightly at that. Modest, aren't you? Naruto grinned. Well, if you don't believe in yourself, then who else is going to? Her smile dropped back into her usual cold expression. Well, you can drag me back all you like. All I'm going to do is act in front of the camera, that's all, you got that? Whatever you say, Naruto said as they found themselves inside of a tunnel. Suddenly a train whistle sounded out behind them. What the hell? Outside of the tunnel the ice melted to reveal train tracks. Sakura kneeled down to inspect them. There's chakra running through these rails. Sandeya's eyes bulged out. He's here. He started yelling around to everyone in the area. Everyone hurry! You need to get out quickly, it's not safe. You can't let them find you. The man started running up a nearby slope. Wait, Sandeya! Tenten yelled. Where are you going? Tenten, don't go after him, Sai said. We need to protect the princess, and that means we have to wait for Naruto-senpai. A light appeared behind Naruto and Koyuki. That, along with the whistle and the train tracks revealing themselves, told her all she needed to know about what was happening. It's a train. A train? Naruto repeated in an irritated fashion. The entire tunnel began to shake with icicles falling down from overhead. Of course it is. And why not? Naruto said before taking off at full speed before the thing quickly reached his heels. Fuck. It already had a ton of momentum. It's no good, we'll be run over. Koyuki shouted as she held onto Naruto tightly. Well, excuse me if I don't want to be put down by a train. I've had too much stuff try to kill me to let a giant hunk of metal be the thing that gets the job done. That would be embarrassing. Naruto bellowed right back. Koyuki shook her head desperately. It's impossible. Naruto grit his teeth, trying to pull every ounce of speed he could out of his leg muscles. Woman, I live the impossible every damn day. Now let me run. Look, there's no way you can outrun that thing. Well, I might be able to for sure if I drop a few pounds. Are you volunteering? No. Then shut the hell up and let me save your ass already. That ended the argument right there. Come on, QB, a little assistance wouldn't hurt here. The feeling of the malicious chakra circulating through his body came forward and drove him faster than he otherwise would have gone at top speed. We're getting out of here. They both finally breached into the light, and Naruto immediately jumped to the side, allowing the train to speed past them. Naruto stood up laughing at dodging the massive locomotive and helped Koyuki to her feet. Who can't outrun a train? You need to get some faith. It's been a long time, Koyuki, a voice belonging to an older man said. She looked up at the train as a gasp escaped her lips. Dodo. A man with brown hair trailing down to his shoulders wearing an ornate robe was standing on top of the train that had come to a stop. It's been 10 years, hasn't it? Don't be shy now, dear, let me see that beautiful face of yours. Koyuki shirked under his gaze, bringing an evil grin to his face until Naruto moved in front of her with his hand on his sword. So this is the guy I'm supposed to kill? He doesn't look too tough at all. Before any more words could be said, a mass of logs slid down a nearby slope and plowed into the side of the train. At the top of the hill stood Sandeyu in samurai armor along with many others garbed in the same. Do you see it, men? Our beloved princess is here to watch over us. With her at our side, victory will be ours. As the men all cheered out, Sandeyu drew a sword from his hip. Doto, we have waited a long time for this day of reckoning to arrive. Sandeyu-sama and 50 loyal warriors stand before you to avenge our fallen leader Lord Susetsu. On this day you breathe no more. Doto looked at the men distastefully. I thought that you had destroyed the last of the insurgents. Nader appeared at his side, bowing slightly. My apologies, my lord, we will get rid of them immediately. No, Doto said amusedly. With men such as these there is little that they can understand but total annihilation. With that and a battle cry, all of the men charged down the hill at Doto's train. Doto nodded, and in response Nadar made a hand seal that opened up the train doors to reveal holes throughout that began to rapid-fire kunai at all of the men, mowing them down in cold blood. Naruto watched the scene in amazement at the quickly distributed carnage. They have something like this? As if just throwing the damn things weren't lethal enough. Naruto glared at Doto, who was laughing at the violence. Sandeyu was still standing with kunai sticking out all over his body when Doto signaled for another salvo to go out to finish him off. As the mass of metal weaponry was about to hit him, Tenten jumped in front of him and pulled out one of her scrolls that she used to summon a large iron dome around both of them. Sakura started punching and kicking at the ground at the top of the hill with her chakra-enhanced strength technique to cause an avalanche that blocked the volley guns on the train. Tenten sealed her iron dome and threw kunai with explosive tags attached at the bridge in front of the train, destroying it and almost taking an escaping train with it. However, the train car holding Doto detached from the rest and got away quickly. Naruto-senpai, Sai said as he saw Naruto walking with Koyuki around the remnants of the massacre. What are we going to do now? The film crew was helping with the dead and wounded, and Sakura was doing what she could for Sandeyu. This is terrible, she said as she did her best to heal the man. What kind of monster is he? Koyuki looked around callously. This is what comes from never giving up. If they hadn't stood against Doto, then none of this bloodshed would have happened. No, Sai said. This is also what has been happening to civilians. Women, children, anyone that Doto even suspected of being against him, it made no difference to him. A true tyrant that cares not for the evils he commits. Tenten looked from the dying Sandae to Sai, who said that entire thing without a hint of anything in his voice. Don't you feel anything for all this? She asked him. She was pissed off personally at the thought of Doto getting away with this. Sai shook his head. I don't have feelings. Sandae choked for a moment before looking at Koyuki and speaking. Princess, please forgive me. I should have never gotten you involved in this. But every one of us all believed in spite of everything, because we knew you were alive. You must believe in yourself. You have always been this country's ray of hope, princess, so do not waste your tears on me. With that he let one last breath go. Sakura stopped her jutsu and looked at the others solemnly. Koyuki simply kept her eyes on his lifeless form. You are such a fool, Sandae. I can't cry. You have my eye drops. She then looked at the director and the Konoha ninja. Are you all satisfied? Let's go back. If you stay here, your lives will be in jeopardy. Let's just go home. Your home is here, Naruto said. And it's a mission, of course our lives are in danger. You can't just disappear now. Doto knows you and he'll keep coming after you until you're dead. No amount of running is going to keep him away. What would you know about it? She snapped back. Spring doesn't come to this country. Our tears are frozen over and our hearts are hardened with the cold. No, Naruto replied. That's him, he said as he pointed at Sai. But you could change this country yourself if you would just face up to what you know you have to do. Sakura's fist shook in anger hearing Koyuki speak so cruelly. Sandae believed in you. He lived his entire life keeping you safe so that you might come back here and free the country one day. You haven't even shed one tear for his sacrifice because you're a coward. Sakura, calm down, Naruto said. Sakura stopped herself, realizing she was about to walk up to Koyuki and hit her in the face. Her muscles were tense to deliver the punch when Naruto's voice stopped her. Hitting her won't change anything or bring anyone back. Koyuki tried to walk away when Tenten stood in front of her with a firm look on her face. Sorry, but you can't just do as you like in this instance. Koyuki then gasped at something behind Tenten. A blimp rising up over the nearby cliff. The large man, Mizor, aimed his retractable hand at Koyuki from his spot at the bottom of the blimp and snatched her up swiftly. His female partner Fubuki threw kunai at them that branched out into jagged ice trees that the others were forced to dodge. Motherfucker! Tenten shouted. They have even more of this crap. What do we do now, Naruto-kun? She said, looking at the team leader. All eyes turned to him as he looked at the blimp flying away. Psycho High? I have eyes on the blimp, Naruto-senpai. Right up there with you. That got a look of confusion from the girls and a grin from Naruto. Good, Naruto said. The real me will be in touch with you soon. Just follow where the blimp went and be ready to fight soon. On board the blimp. You have grown beautiful, Koyuki, Dodo said. Do you have the hex crystal? Yes, she said. For standing in front of her father's murderer, her tone was exceptionally even. Very good, the man said with his disturbing grin. It is the soul link to the Kazuhana clan and the key to opening its greatest treasure. Treasure? Koyuki said. What treasure? She didn't know about any kind of treasure. When Doto stopped, trying to come up with a term for what he wanted to say. Obtained control of the kingdom from your father, the resources of the clan were all but gone. Susetsu obviously hid his treasure somewhere, so I searched high and low for it before finally finding it, hidden deep within Rainbow Glacier. A keyhole there can only be opened by the hex crystal. Once I get the fortune hidden there, I can finally gain military superiority over the 5 great nations. Now, Dodo said with his hand outstretched towards Koyuki. I will take the hex crystal now. After all, you don't need it, do you? Koyuki removed the necklace from around her throat and passed it off to Doto, who examined it before his face twisted angrily. What is this? What? Koyuki said, taken aback by his shift in temperament. He grabbed her by the collar. You think that I can't recognize that this is a fake? Where is the real crystal? That's impossible, Koyuki reasoned before realization hit. Naruto. The blonde boy. He was the only one that ever could have. Nadar, who was leaning against a wall in the room, growled lowly. Yes, that boy. He certainly grew up to become a thorn in my side on a consistent scale, didn't he? Fubuki gave a sultry smile. Do you want us to head out and round it up? We'll find it in no time. Doto grinned again. No, that will not be necessary. Why bother chasing after it when the group will show up for their princess of their own volition? All we have to do until those rats stumble upon us is to just wait. He never took notice of the actual rat, in black and white, scuttering across the corner of the floor. Doto's fortress, prison level. Koyoki sat by herself in a cell with her knees up to her chest. Every few seconds 2 armed guards would walk past her cell as they kept watch over her. As they walked out of sight, she heard sounds of struggling followed by complete silence. A matter of moments later, Naruto appeared in front of her cell with a kunai in his hand. Well, look at you. Prison doesn't suit such a pretty face. Would you like to leave? She looked at him in shock. How did you get here? How did you even find this place? Naruto picked his ear. I was on the blimp with you the entire time. It's not that hard to hide from these guys. Take away that armor of theirs and their practical skills suck. Why the hell didn't you get me off then if you were there the entire time? Or better yet, why didn't you just defeat them all and end it there? She hissed slowly with a tick mark having formed on her head. Naruto gave her a deadpan look. Yes, because you and me jumping off of a blimp at least 1,000 feet in the air would have ended well. And then if I had killed everyone on board the blimp, I'm personally trained to safely land it and make sure that we all survive instead of die in a miserable, fiery crash in middle of a winter wasteland, he said sarcastically before poking at the lock with the kunai. God damn it. He cursed slowly when it proceeded to shock him. Just quit, Koyoki said. You can't win all by yourself against all of Doto's men. You really don't know me very well, Naruto said. This is just a setback. And what is your problem with having faith in something? You're so cynical. I was this close to letting Sakura clock you. Koyoki fixed Naruto with a stare as she watched him examine the lock probingly. My father always told me that spring would always come. To imagine myself in a field full of flowers, running through it. He always said that if I never gave up, always believed, then spring would come to Yuki no Kuni. But this place has no spring. My father died, I was forced to flee, and I stopped believing. I began to run away and lie to others, but to no one more than myself. I told you that I deal in lies as an actress and I'm the best at it, but that's because my entire life is one huge charade. You done? Naruto said as he pulled out a slip of paper and a brush and began drawing on it. Because if you are, I'm going to tell you a little story while I work on freeing your pessimistic ass. You say all of these things about your life being a charade and everything, but you chose that life. Yes, you were worked into a corner and had to run as a little girl, but eventually you quit without ever trying. His eyes flickered to hers before getting back to work. I was worked into a corner too, right from the start. I have within my person a murdering, malicious, palpable mass of living chakra in my head, or belly, one or the other, I never really figured it out. Either way, it was placed there moments after my birth by my father, to protect a village that spied my existence all throughout my childhood, that refused to acknowledge me as a child. So do you want to know what I did? What? Koyoki asked. I worked my ass off. I underwent detestable training for years and became a ninja for my village. I fought and bled for that place in faraway lands that most of them will never hear anything of to keep them safe. I did all of this before I became 8. I wanted to be the best, because if I was the best ninja in the world there was no way that they couldn't recognize me as a person. Do you want to know how long it took? It took 11 years and things are just now getting to where I wanted them to be. And now I have a group of superpowered criminals coming for the demon locked inside of me in my life, so I've got that going for me too. So do you know what I'm going to do about that? Koyoki shook her head, bringing a grin to Naruto's face. I'm going to kick their asses. I'm going to beat them all. They're not beating me no matter what I have to do, and that's going to get me where I want to be. And I'm going to show you that right now because this seal is done. Naruto stood up making one-handed seals. Fuinjutsu, Genso Kyushu, sealing technique, elemental absorption. He slapped the finished seal tag on the bars and held his hand to it. As the electricity from the trap cell coursed, Koyoki turned her head away so that she didn't see Naruto die of electrocution. After a few seconds, when she didn't hear his body hit the ground, she opened her eyes to see electricity coursing around Naruto's arm that was stuck to the seal. The electricity faded and Naruto then proceeded to rip his seal off of the door and pick the lock open. How did you do that? Koyoki asked when the cell door popped open. Naruto ripped up his used seal into bits. That seal takes the element of whatever it sticks to and converts it to chakra. But if the element isn't your affinity, then your coils are going to get destroyed by whatever the element actually is. Good for me, my affinity for lightning is strong enough, right? He held out his hand for her. Now let's go. Koyoki gave him a smile and took his hand before they ran out of the prison area of the fortress. They eventually came upon a group of Yuki ninja when Naruto prompted Koyoki to stop. Hello you guys. Good to see your ink rat made it back to you in one piece. Sai and the others got rid of their disguises. Yes, Naruto-senpai, and to you as well. He had his signature smile on his face. You've got the princess. Do you want the crystal you gave me back? Give it to her, Naruto said, pointing at Koiki. Because I'm about to raze this place to the ground and beat Doto's skull in, and I might destroy it if I have it on me. Now get out of here so I can finish this. I'm not leaving, Naruto-kun, Tenten said. Why would we leave you alone like that? Sai echoed her sentiments. I am here to ensure your safety. I'm not leaving, Naruto-senpai. Someone's got to heal you when you get yourself busted up, you idiot, Sakura said, but she had a smile on her face. Fine, Naruto grumbled. I would write you all up for insubordination in my report, but I'm on probation and that might make me look bad. We need to move now, Koiki said, taking the hex crystal back from Sai. I can hear the guards coming. Follow me, she said, taking off with all of the Konoha ninja following behind her. She led the team into a room where Doto's voice sounded out in laughter. Well done, Koiki. She ran towards him, standing atop his throne area, and before any of them could stop her, Nadar, Fubuki, and Nizor appeared ahead of them, cutting them off from intercepting her. Fubuki blatantly winked at Sai, who simply raised an eyebrow, and Nizor made a lewd tongue gesture at Sakura and Tenten, who simply started radiating killing intent. Nadar simply had a victorious smirk on his face as he looked at Naruto. It looks like you lose, boy. You still can't beat me after all these years. Naruto's face went stone cold. I'm going to enjoy shutting that mouth of yours with my sword. He turned his eyes up to Koiki, who was standing next to Doto. What do you think you're doing, Koiki? The princess gave her necklace to her uncle and looked down at her hired team. This shouldn't be any surprise to you. I am an actress after all, aren't I? Doto laughed triumphantly. Yes, another magnificent performance from the great Yuki Fujikaze. Yes, it was all an act. She then revealed a tanto hidden underneath her clothes and stabbed Doto. I told you, didn't I? I'm an actress. Naruto had an interested look on his face. Well, that's taking things into your own hands, I guess. Good stuff. Why, you little... Doto grabbed Koiki around her throat. Naruto cursed and made a move, but the other group of ninjas stopped him and his own team before they could try anything. Koiki grabbed Doto's arm. I always knew, Naruto, that I was going to die if I ever returned to Yuki no Kuni. At least in the end I could. Naruto grit his teeth. You'd better survive, damn you! It's an empty victory if you die achieving it. Koiki smiled weakly at Naruto while still in Doto's grip. It was thanks to you, Naruto, that I was able to face my home in the end. Naruto's eyes flickered red. Nadar, get out of my way or I will rip your head off. Naruto barreled into Nadar suddenly, shoulder-checking him out of the way as he ran towards Doto and Koiki, who both fell off of the throne area. I'm sorry, father. Sandayu. Koiki thought to herself as Naruto reached her side. Koiki, you'd better be alright, damn it, Naruto said as he kneeled down at her side. While fretting over Koiki, he didn't notice Doto reach his feet, and that gave the man the opportunity to kick him away from her. Doto untied his robe and revealed advanced-looking black chakra armor. You really thought that little toy could kill me? The knife had left a mark, but had not pierced it. The latest prototype of our chakra armor. Worth every bit paid. He grabbed Koiki and laughed when she tried to struggle against him. Stop wasting your time. Every ounce of your chakra is being taken from you, you're powerless. She continued to fight in vain as the ceiling broke and Doto shot a line up to escape. Come, Koiki, let us go beyond the rainbow. Naruto seethed in anger as he watched them escape. Naruto formed a blue ball of chakra in one hand to make an improvised exit. Rasengan, spiraling sphere! Naruto destroyed a nearby wall and got outside to see Doto and Koiki flying off. Northwest! Get moving now! He shouted to his team that immediately went out through the hole he made and gave chase. Naruto was prevented from proceeding by a series of kunai keeping him there. Let's finish this, shall we, little Naruto? No running away this time, eh? Nadar said tauntingly as they both stood on the cliffside surrounding the fortress. Naruto glared darkly at Nadar. I don't have time to play with you, Nadar, so I'll make this quick and brutal. He threw a kunai right down the middle at Nadar that simply bounced off of a chakra shield. You should know by now that it's pointless. Now it's time to show you my original jutsu, Hayatan, Rogan Nadar no Jutsu, Ice Release, Wolf Fang Avalanche Jutsu. The snow gathered at the top of the fortress spilled over and raged towards Naruto in the form of a pack of wolves rushing right at him. Naruto made hand seals and stopped his movements with his arms in an X. Futon, Senpu Kakusui, Wind Release, Whirlwind Pyramid. A violent wind whipped around Naruto's body, most prominent in the area that was facing the avalanche of wolves. The ice jutsu smashed into Naruto's wall of wind, kicking up a blur of powder as it flowed down over the cliffside. Nadar laughed loudly at disposing of Naruto in such a manner. Your weak little jutsu couldn't stand up to the power of my chakra armor. You were still 10 years too young to put me down, brat. Doton, Shinjuzanshu no Jutsu, Earth Release, Inner Decapitation Jutsu. Naruto's hands wrapped around Nadar's legs and pulled him underground. After a short moment, Nadar found himself driven out of the cliffside he had been standing on with a pair of explosive notes, one on his forehead, the other on his back. Damn you, boy! You aren't better than me, my armor is invincible. You can't do this, he said as he fell down the sheer drop, raging with lunacy. Naruto stood at the edge of the hole he had pummeled Nadar's body through and placed his hand in a half-tiger seal as he looked down on his enemy's descending body. Invincible, huh? Let's see it survive a 1,000-foot fall. Boom! Naruto said just as his tags finished burning down and detonated, consuming Nadar's body in an explosive fireball. He then took off to chase after Koiki and Doto. He circled around the front of the fortress when he heard someone calling out to him and saw the director on a mobile trolley of sorts. Naruto smirked. He wondered how fast that thing was. With Sai. Sai flew through the trees of a snowy forest, dodging a series of ice pillars forming up and crashing through the branches he leapt to and from. Chuji Giga, Super Beast Imitation Picture. Sai drew up a flock of birds to fly off at his enemy to buy himself some space. Ah, come on, sweetie, don't you want to chill out with me for a bit? Fubuki said as she saw Sai's birds incoming and allowed them to bounce off her chakra shield from her armor. You should know that won't work by now. Due to the destroyed birds, a mist of ink surrounded Fubuki that she came out of looking around for Sai. Come out wherever you are. All right then, peek-boo. Fubuki turned to see Sakura leap out of the ink mist and drill her straight in the face with a hard right hand. Her body was sent flying through the forest, taking out trees that crashed down all around her. Sakura let out a sigh of relief and wiped her brow. Finally! Thanks for that, Sai. That bitch was getting on my nerves. Sai landed from the trees next to Sakura with his smile placed on his face. No problem, you dash dot. Sai caught himself before he could call Sakura ugly due to Tenten's advice, names based on amassed traits of the people they're intended for. He tried again, Blossom-san. Sakura gave him a small smile. Blossom, huh? She shrugged. It's damn better than being called ugly, isn't it, Sai? His smile was the only answer she got. With Tenten. Tenten stood in place as her opponent Mizore flew through the trees surrounding them swiftly on his snowboard. What are you going to do, little girl? You still can't do anything to me. He threw out his cable-retracted arm at her. Tenten dodged it and pulled out a scroll. Eat this then, Bakuryajeki, Exploding Dragon Strike. A large flame dragon emerged from the scroll that Tenten opened and unsealed, sending it right at Mizore, melting the snow as it came right at him. The fire bounced right off of the shield produced by the chakra armor. Ha ha! You can't even touch me! His snowboard slid along the rough, coarse ground where he ended up tripping over something stuck in the ground. What the fuck? He said to himself as he picked himself up, rubbing his injured body, and looked where he fell. He shouldn't be this hurt just from a simple fall. What is this? Tenten smirked. I knew you were coming after me. Didn't you notice me waiting for you? I set tons of those things all over this area and you stumbled right over them, jerk. Mizore looked down at them and saw that she had planted tons of spiked metal balls beneath the snow, and he had fallen on and slid all across them. His snowboard was mangled. Now let's see you block this. Tenten took the large scroll from off of her back and threw it into the air over him. Sugu, Tensesai, Manipulated Tools, Heavenly Chain of Destruction. He couldn't dodge with the metal of his snowboard mangled around his feet due to Tenten's trap, so he simply prepared his chakra armor to take the shot. He realized something was wrong when he tried to put his shield up, but it simply fizzled out. He looked at his armor only to find that a vital part that converted chakra into the shield was broken from the unprotected fall. No! Tenten's mid-air scroll started bombarding him from directly above with countless tools of all sorts. Kunai, shuriken of all sizes, Fuma shuriken, broadswords, large spiked iron balls, anything that could be sent at someone. Mizore quickly found himself impaled with multiple weapons of all types throughout his body. Tenten looked at him, and all of the weapons surrounding him. Yep, that armor of yours, something that strong would have to have a weak point. I saw you touch a certain place on your armor repeatedly during the last fight. An accident and something like that could get really messed up, huh? She looked around with a sigh. Do I have to pick all of this up now? Rainbow Glacier. Dota looked around frantically. He had used the hex crystal, and nothing was happening. There was no secret passage revealed or anything at all. Where is it? Where is the treasure? The Kazuhana fortune? Hissing sounds rang out and the frozen ground began to melt. A heat generator? This is the hidden treasure that I've spent so much time looking for? He said, outraged. It's so warm, Koyuki commented to herself quietly. Right-on, Kaminari Shuriken, lighting release, lightning shuriken. Lighting struck from overhead from a single shuriken position directly above Doto, who automatically responded by turning around and forming hand seals. Hayaton, Kakuryu Bufusetsu, ice release, black dragon blizzard. He shot off a dragon formed from the ice around him by him arm at Naruto, who was standing not too far away. The dragon hit him, launching him into the air where he burst into smoke. What? He turned around to see that the princess was no longer there, and was a ways off with Naruto, who had her in his arms and put her down. Naruto faced Doto and cracked his neck. No skill, all power, and not even that much of that really. Who are you, boy? Doto asked, nearly frothing at the mouth at the current turn of events. Everything he had done, it was all for nothing. Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto replied with his arms crossed. ID number 012607, Jounin level shinobi of Konohagakure no Sato, Jinchuriki of the Kyubi no Yoko, and the future Hokage. Nice to meet you. Koyuki looked at Naruto with his game face on. Naruto, please don't die. Naruto gave her a reassuring smile before turning back to Doto and walking out away from Koyuki. The day I get finished off by a guy like this. Well, let's just say I'll be fine, Koyuki. Just believe in me. Koyuki let him walk out into the open ice to face Doto. Naruto, you are by far the strongest ninja I've ever known. I believe in you. Naruto smiled to himself as he continued to walk forward. It's about time. His smile dropped once he looked back at Doto. Now let's finish this. My sentiments exactly, Doto said. Hayaton, Surya Bufusetsu, ice release, twin dragon blizzard. This time he released 2 black ice dragons at Naruto that quickly merged into a large black tornado. Now die! Naruto bounced on the balls of his feet to loosen himself up. So Kyubi, how should I handle this one? Any ideas? Subtle or loud? Oh, for Kami's sake, kid, just take some chakra and blow his ass away. Asking me what to do like you didn't already know. Naruto smirked at Kyubi's outburst. Naruto's eyes flickered red as a one-tailed cloak emerged around his body. It's going to take a lot of chakra for this one, but since you have a tornado, I might as well show you how strong the wind can really be. Naruto rolled through a long chain of hand seals as the black tornado came ever closer. He finished his seals and inhaled deeply as his chest expanded. I may not have had the finesse for any of Danzojiji's wind techniques, but I do have this. Futon, Hiragiri Tiihen, wind release, spreading air disaster. Naruto exhaled full force and unleashed a terrible blast of wind large and wide directly at the black dragon tornado, tearing up the ice plates on the ground and ripping up the landscape. The high-speed wind hit the tornado and ripped it to black snow, scaring Doto shitless when he saw it coming his way. He turned on his chakra shield, but that only protected him, not the ground beneath him, which ended up getting torn asunder by Naruto's jutsu. It picked him up off of the ground and threw him backwards across much of the tundra, slamming him into a wall of ice hard back first. The force of the hit should have killed him, but his armor proved exceptional when compared with the rest as the impact left him with internal injuries, coughing up blood, but otherwise alive. He walked out, still looking ready to fight, but on his last legs with Naruto charging towards him with a blue ball in his right hand. He smirked a bloody smile as he saw that. I have on chakra armor, you fool! You can't harm me with that. It's pure chakra. He kept that thought up until he didn't notice his chakra shield activating. He looked at Naruto with fear in his eyes as he saw the Rasengan in his hand turn multicolored. Koyuki's eyes widened. Is that rainbow chakra? She said in disbelief. Naruto thrusted his hand forward. Die, you son of a bitch, Nanero no Rasengan, 7-colored spiraling sphere! The Rasengan carved right through the armor like a buzzsaw and pulverized its way into Doto's body as Naruto continued driving forward right into the thick ice wall that Doto had hit after Naruto's wind jutsu. The wall cracked and collapsed on top of both of them, revealing one of the walls of the massive generator. Quiet reigned over the area as the scenery changed due to the rapid melting of the ice until the voice of the director could be heard. Tell me we got all of that. Holy shit, we're going to need to make this movie 3D after that. Believe in the future and spring will surely come. Everyone looked around and saw a large projection of Princess Koyuki as a little girl. What will you do when spring comes, Koyuki? The voice asked her. The little girl smiled brightly. I'm going to be a princess. What kind of princess? The voice said. Let's see. Little Koyuki said. One that's strong, and kind, and most of all one who fights for justice. The man chuckled. That's some dream. Koyuki found herself tearing up as she watched this. Did I really say those things? Well, so long as you believe in your dreams and never give up, one day you will be that princess. A man then appeared in front of the image and put the necklace around Koyuki's neck. You can see it, right? A beautiful princess standing right in front of you. Koyuki's tears finally started to fall just before she heard her younger self speak again. But there's sort of something else I want to be, she said with uncertainty. And what would that be? The man, her father, asked. An actress, she said, full of spirit. The older Koyuki began to laugh as her tears fell, tears of joy instead of sorrow. Over by the generator, Naruto threw the slowly melting chunks of ice off of himself and stood up, looking himself over with a disgruntled look on his face as his frame was covered in Doto's blood. Great. I need a shower now. I guess it's a good thing I didn't blow up that fortress after all, huh? Koyuki's coronation ceremony. Koyuki was speaking to the ninja squad that had helped her country. The generator wasn't even full developed in the end, she commented as she stood in the beautiful garden where the ceremony had taken place. Sakura smiled apologetically. I guess it will be back to winter soon, huh? Koyuki shook her head with a big smile. No, not really. If we take what we know and keep researching, before you know it, Yuki no Kuni will be Haru no Kuni, land of spring. Tenten rubbed her own shoulder. Yeah, but it's a shame though. You're such a big star, are you really going to stop acting now to run your country? Koyuki gave a sly grin. Who said I was retiring? Ruling over Yuki no Kuni and acting, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to handle them both. I mean, I would have to be out of my mind to give it up now, she said as she pulled out a script in full sight of the team. Sakura blushed at the sight of the heading as she was very familiar with it due to what her first sensei could always be seen reading. You're going to star in Ika Ika? Koyuki let out a laugh. Well, I'll be seeing you. And Naruto, she said, getting the Scarface blonde's full attention. I'll be needing a leading man for that role. Do you think you would be interested? Naruto's eyes widened before a smirk formed on his face. Do I need to audition? He said as a drop of blood came from his nose. In Konoha, 2 weeks later. Danzo sat in Tsunade's office as he fished inside of his robe for something as he spoke to Tsunade. It seems that Naruto is doing a fantastic job. His last mission should get Konoha plenty of new business and publicity. Yes, I read his report, Tsunade said evenly as she remained suspicious of what Danzo was looking for. He did wonderful for leading his first mission, and his success could lead to a potential trade alliance with Yuki no Kuni. Their technology is something to take note of. But I don't know too much about the publicity. Danzo pulled a poster out of his robe and set it down in front of Tsunade. Oh, I believe so. On the poster was Koyuki and a picture of Naruto in a blown-up action pose as the title of the new movie was emblazoned above. Tsunade's eyes widened at the sight until Danzo spoke again. I wonder if Princess Koki will ask him to star in her next film if this one is a success? He then obstructed Tsunade's view of the poster by dropping a script on her desk that made her grab her desk so hard it cracked. Have a good day, Tsunadeheim, the bandaged man said as he left the office. Shizune entered shortly thereafter and saw Tsunade staring hard at something on her desk. Is something the matter, Tsunade-sama? She asked. Tsunade didn't look up even when Shizune came around her desk and looked at what she had her eyes locked on. I don't know who I should take a certain pressing new issue up with. Jiraiya for signing off on this movie of his, or the Brad if he actually ends up being in it. Shizune read the heading and had a small trickle of blood leave her nose. Chapter 37, Road Trip with Erosenin. The sun was rapidly fading as Naruto ambled back through the gates of Konoha with the team he had been placed with to lead on his latest mission, Kurenai's squad, Team 8. Kiba grumbled as Naruto signed them back in at the check-in station and caught up with Izumo and Kotetsu for a moment. Man, how come nothing cool happened on this mission? We had Naruto leading it, he's like the magnet for irksome situations or something, so we should have had some trouble. Shino spoke as Naruto continued with the pleasantries with the gate guards. Kiba, it is illogical to actively desire a desperate confrontation the way you do. Though from what I've heard it is something of an anomaly to go on missions with Naruto-san and avoid trouble. Yeah, right? Exactly, Kiba exclaimed. From what we hear, you could go on a C-rank with Naruto to deliver a wagon full of plush toys, and chances are he'd end up fighting a A-ranked missing nin with a plan to control the economy of an entire country with the plush toys. And don't give me that crap like you're not disappointed, Shino, you know that you wish something happened too. Perhaps. Shino alluded to him being right. But unlike you, I can keep the complaints to myself, and can keep the amount of noise pollution in the air to a minimum. Kide fumed at his usually stoic and silent teammate. Kiba-kun, Shino-kun, stop fighting. Hinata chided softly. The mission was successful and we're all okay, that's what matters, right? Naruto watched the team interact from afar. This was his third mission led as a jounin, and it went off without a hitch. He actually couldn't wait to get to Tsunade's office and see if his probation would end with him as a jounin or if he would get demoted. He'd better not get demoted. Every single mission ended with him bringing the team back in perfect condition and then some. As he looked at the team of his former classmates, he had to admit, they were way stronger than he thought they would get when he fought them after bringing Tsunade back, especially Hinata. His incident with her was either going to make her or break her, and apparently she had enough fight in her at the time to have that episode end up building on her character. Getting promoted was proof of that. She was still sweet as could be, and he could tell she still had a little something for him, but damned if it wasn't manageable now. He could easily work with her, and from the looks of things she could be the voice of reason between the two extremes of emotion and logic that resided on her squad. It was clear she was skilled enough in a fight or else she wouldn't have been promoted in the first place, and of course it never hurt that she was absolutely gorgeous. Kiba and Shino were stronger, that much was clear just from looking at them, and Akamaru, who was fucking huge. Kami, how did he miss that during the Chunin exam in Suna he was there to watch? Anyway, after his last mission with Team 10 as well, it was evident that everyone was stepping their game up for the future, and he was proud of them. Why he was proud of them he didn't know. They were friends of his. He would hang out with Kiba when they ran into each other sometimes, good times. Shino was actually balls enough to head into the forest of death every now and then, not so good times actually. And then Hinata, when Neji asked him for spars every now and then she would sometimes watch and talk to them afterwards. She never wanted to fight him herself though. Still, she was good company. "Alright everybody," Naruto said, directing their attention back to him. "Good work. That was quick and clean, my kind of mission actually." He smirked when he heard Kiba snort his displeasure at the lack of action. "I'm going to go and give an oral report on the mission to Tsunade-bachan right now. You guys can turn in your written ones whenever you get to them." Shino nodded and walked off on his own. Kiba nodded as well. "See you later, Naruto. Don't be a stranger, okay?" Hinata smiled at him with her arms behind her back. "Goodbye, Naruto-kun. You should come back to the clan compound sometime. It's nice speaking with you." "Sure thing, Hinata," Naruto said. "Take it easy and make sure you kick Neji's ass for me next time you two spar. I owe him." Getting a giggle out of her, he turned and shined away towards the Hokage Tower. Naruto stood out in front of the Hokage Tower with an intent look on his face as he wrestled with himself to make a decision. Should I take the front way or should I take the window like usual? He pondered to himself, this could be important to my full promotion. If I take the regular way it would show professionalism and I am ready to be a jounin. But it might show that I get rattled by pressure, while going through the window would show that I can stay cool in important situations or dash dot. "For the love of Kami brat!" Naruto's head snapped up to see Tsunade looking down out the window from her office with the tick mark on her head. "You've been out there for 20 minutes just standing there. Get up here already and get debriefed." Well, I guess she doesn't care as much as I thought she would. Naruto thought as he bent his legs to get ready to jump, maybe I overthink some stuff? Naruto jumped up and landed on the windowsill of Tsunade's office. "Hi Tsunade-bachan." Tsunade shook her head with a smile on her face. "Get in here already and get this done." Naruto hopped down into the office and smiled at Shizune, who was standing by Tsunade's desk holding Taunton. "Hello Shizune-nichan, hi Taunton." The dark-haired assistant returned his smile. "Hello Naruto-kun, you seem awfully upbeat today." Taunton winked as if to agree. "And why wouldn't I be?" he said, unable to keep the excitement off of his face. "I didn't screw up and fail in missions. All of my teammates were always in top condition when we got back. There's no way I'm getting demoted, I'm a jounin now." Tsunade took a seat at her desk. "Alright, I'll be the judge of that. Now go ahead and debrief." "Okay Hokage-sama." Naruto coughed and got down to business. "The mission, a B-ranked reconnaissance mission into Tano Kuni, came up with no new outward fortifications by Orochimaru's forces. He hasn't made any new moves since I sacked his bases on the mission that ended a little over a month ago. We were unable to recover anything new and there hasn't been any presence at what was formerly his main base since we last took it out." Tsunade nodded. "That sounds about right. Orochimaru was never too careful when it came to covering his tracks. And we only have 5 months left until he attempts his jutsu on Sasuke Uchiha." Naruto leaned against her desk. "Should we really be wasting resources like this to stop him before he can take Sasuke's body? I mean, he already failed trying to take Itachi Uchiha's body at full strength, and when his body wears down this time he should be easy pickings. Sasuke will kill him when he tries unless he's been lazy for the last few years and I just don't see that." Tsunade sat her chin on her hands. "Do you think that he will come back after he beats Orochimaru or something?" "Hell no," Naruto said immediately in response. He's going to go after Itachi probably, but that won't matter right now. All that matters is that Orochimaru will be dead and his forces will be in disarray. That's the time to actively search for the smattering of bases and disoriented forces with a few quick task forces if we have any ready at the time. Let Enko-chan do that to make up for sending her back on the last mission we took to take his bases out. Tsunade nodded with a serious face before a grin came across her features. Trying for another promotion so soon, are we, brat? Naruto smirked, the serious moment for the most part over with. Not really, Ba-chan. I don't think I want one right now anyway, that is if I'm a jounin. Tsunade rolled her eyes. Yes, your probation is over, you're a jounin now, congratulations. You've earned it. She smiled at him. You're really earning that necklace of yours too, aren't you? Naruto pulled it from under his flak jacket and held it out. I'm glad you think so. I make it look good, don't I? He said with a grin. Alright, calm down, sheesh. Tsunade said, waving him off. You're dismissed. Stay in good condition to move out on another mission soon, don't overexert yourself, and get some rest. The specifics behind what you're doing should be out for you to know of in a few days. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Why so secretive on the mission, Tsunade-bachan? It's supposed to be at least S-ranked in difficulty and importance, she said. Do you still want it? Naruto didn't flinch. You wouldn't have asked me to do it if you didn't think I could or didn't think I was needed. Of course I'll take it. I told you already, Ba-chan, I may mess around a bit, but I'll follow any order you give me. That's the way I was taught. Naruto gave a two-fingered salute to the women in the room and left through the door. Naruto opened the door to his apartment to find Hamiko laying on the floor in the living room with notes strewn about. Naruto quietly shut the door and prepared to sneak past her to get to his room when he was stopped in his tracks. I already know you're here, master. I felt the security seals go off when you opened the door. Naruto sighed and walked over to her, sitting on the couch nearby as he looked at what she was doing. Been busy? Hamiko stood up and sat down in Naruto's lap and kissed him happily at seeing him. Welcome home, Naruto-sama. She then looked at the floor and the mess she had made with all of her work all over the place and blushed. Well, yes. I have been. I've been studying Enko-san's seal. And? Naruto said curiously. Hamiko had taken over systematically studying the seal in his place due to the fact that she was far better at Fuinjutsu than him, and could work it out better than he could and faster as well. Hamiko looked away sheepishly. I've hit a brick wall of sorts in getting it off of her. Feeling Naruto's gaze on her, she squirmed in his grasp. It's not that I don't understand what it entails, because I do. And I'm positive I can get it off of her. Naruto raised an eyebrow. I'm sensing a but here somewhere. I need certain things to get it off of her, Hamiko said, a frown marring her pretty face. Apparently Orochimaru ingrained some of his very being into the seal, and enzymes of someone else too. Without the DNA of both of them, I can't break the seal without doing anything to her mind. It could either stunt her abilities and mental to physical capabilities or break her mind altogether. Orochimaru is a true villain. He won't even bother taking it off of her the way he did with Tayuya-san because he still sees use in keeping it on her, unlike Tayuya. Naruto returned her frown. I'm guessing you weren't able to get any of Orochi Team's DNA from the hospital, or Bachan or anything like that, right? Hamiko shook her head. No such luck, Naruto-sama. He rested her head in the crook of his neck. I'm sorry. I haven't told Enko-san that I failed yet. Good, Naruto said, letting her get closer to him. Because you haven't failed. You know what to do, you just don't have everything you need to do it. That's what I'm for. I don't know how, but I'll end up getting Orochimaru and our mystery jerk's DNA for you to finish. I already promised Enko-chan I would anyway. You're going to ask for permission to hunt Orochimaru? Hamiko asked curiously. Can you do that? Naruto shrugged. I have no idea. But I'll have to build up some credibility to ask for a mission like that. Maybe after my next one I'll build up enough. It's supposed to be S-ranked at least. He felt Hamiko stiffen in his grasp. What's the matter? You're going to be gone again? She said sadly. I know you're an important ninja to the village and everything, but you're always away. Always working. I miss you a lot, master. You know all of my friends and I know they like you too. Naruto tried to reason. I can't take you with me. You know I can't. I know, and I love that you keep correspondence with me through our tattoo, Hamiko said desperately. But your friends aren't you. And I don't really fit in with them. They're all ninja except for the Ichiraku family and I'm not. Just because I sometimes teach seals at the academy doesn't mean much. Naruto stood up. Well, I have time to rest for a bit, so I'll tell you what, he said pleasantly. You and me are going to go to bed, because it's clear from the notes everywhere and the tired look in your eyes that you haven't been sleeping too well while working on this. And then tomorrow the whole day will be about you, okay? Whatever you want to do we can do, and it's about time we look for a new place too, right? Hamiko smiled at him before pouting playfully. And give me an even bigger space to clean up after you? Her smile returned. I would like that very much. When she noticed that he carried her past her room into his, she looked at him curiously. What are you doing, Naruto-sama? Naruto set her down in his bed. You said you missed me, didn't you? So why would I make you sleep in your own room tonight? He started taking his shirt off. You're with me tonight, or do you mind? He pulled his shirt off to see that Hamiko had already shed her own clothing and was securely underneath the covers of the bed waiting for him. Fast. Master, she said softly. Come here and keep your servant company. I thought I was the one that was supposed to be giving orders? Naruto thought to himself as he shed his pants and climbed into bed, where Hamiko immediately latched onto him. You haven't done this in a while. And you still don't wear anything when you sleep. Hamiko looked up at him from where her head was on his chest. My offer from the first night I spent with you still stands, master. I have no issues with you taking advantage of my body if you wish. Naruto felt her lovely breasts press against his bare torso and felt himself stiffen. You have no issue, or you would love it if I did. Okay, was it him, or did they grow since he had met her? Hamiko smiled sweetly. A combination of the two, if I were to be honest with you. She knows it would put a smile on her face for the rest of the month if I did. Naruto thought to himself as he started rubbing the sides of Hamiko's body. He locked eyes with hers, blue staring into amber. And I did say that I would do anything you wanted tomorrow. I guess I can start that a little earlier than anticipated. Lemon start. Hamiko smiled and pulled back the covers enough to reveal her nudity to him. As you wish, master. Giggle, or as I wish in this case. Naruto gave her a kiss before pulling away. You're never going to stop with the master stuff, are you? I think it's been turning you on all this time to be calling me that. He rolled her over onto her back, where he began kissing his way down her jaw and neck. Hamiko mewed in pleasure as her hands roamed up and down Naruto's neck and back. No, it was simply the proper way to refer to someone of your stature over me. You are my master by blood relation, thus I have always and will always insist on calling you such. She let out small gasps when she felt Naruto biting down softly on the juncture between her neck and shoulder. It's a habit I can't break you of, I guess, Naruto said, letting up from her for a moment only to feel Hamiko making to remove his boxers. You sure it hasn't been turning you on to call me that? Because you're kind of into it right now and we haven't even started yet. Instead of a verbal response, Hamiko stroked his length softly. Man, she had really soft hands. I don't know how well I'll do for my first time, master, Hamiko said, not able to take her eyes off of Naruto's cock. But I'll do my best for you to enjoy it. She let out a squeak of surprise when she felt her legs pulled out from beneath her and blinked in confusion. What's wrong? Naruto shook his head and began to softly massage Hamiko's chest. This isn't for me, Hamiko-chan. I'm going to enjoy it no matter what we end up doing. This is all for you. What do you want us to do? Hamiko had a heavy blush on her face as she turned her head to the side and mumbled something. What was that? He said, switching to playing with his female helper's nipples. Speak up if you want something. Hamiko let out a moan before repeating what he had instructed her to. I want you to make love to me, Naruto-sama, not have sex with me, make love to me. She turned her eyes to his. I want my first time to be really special, especially with you. Naruto smiled warmly at the white-haired girl and leaned down towards her face. I can make sure you remember it, Hamiko-chan. I'll make it as special as I can for you. He lowered his face the rest of the way and kissed the very receptive girl who had her arms wrapped around his head, pulling him close to her. Hamiko opened her mouth, inviting Naruto's tongue inside, an invitation he accepted as they continued to kiss passionately. They broke away and Naruto noticed the look of absolute delight in Hamiko's eyes just from a kiss. Naruto looked at the body of Hamiko as the moonlight through the shaded windows hit her and gave her an ethereal glow. You're beautiful. Naruto traced a finger along her jaw, down her neck, chest, belly, and finally reached her soaked womanhood. And you're very excited too. And you aren't? Hamiko bit back playfully. Or is that the normal size that you walk around regularly with? She gestured at his rock-hard member. Because if you aren't even erect yet, master, then I'm kind of scared. She finished with a laugh. Naruto rolled his eyes at her joke. Yes, I'm very excited, Hamiko-chan, but there's something I want to do first. Naruto moved down her body and placed his hands on Hamiko's knees, which instinctually closed when he moved towards her pussy. Naruto rolled his eyes. Now was the time she actually chose to be shy about it, and gently parted her legs to take in the sight of his lovely servant fully. Please don't stare like that, master, Hamiko said. It's embarrassing. Nothing to be embarrassed about. Naruto said in return. You know, I've always wanted to know just how sweet you really were, Hamiko-chan, he said with a grin. Era? Hamiko muttered in confusion before she felt Naruto's tongue run along her private place. Hamiko grabbed the bedsheets tightly as Naruto's tongue danced about inside of her. Her breasts started coming out in rather ragged pants as her legs wrapped around Naruto's head. Naruto's oral fixation on Hamiko didn't cease or slow an inch as he continued eating her out. His tongue darting in and out, he didn't even register it when Hamiko's legs wrapped around his head and neck. For having such pretty, shapely legs, they weren't as strong as he expected a kunoichi's legs to be due to Hamiko not really training her body like one. If he had been doing this to someone like Tenten, Tayuya, Yujito, or any of the other ladies that were interested in him, they might have severed his spinal cord while he had been doing it. Naruto allowed enough room to start moving a finger in and out of Hamiko's wet warmth. He licked his own lips as the sounds of her panting filled the room. As he lifted his head, continuing to finger her, even adding a second one much to her delight, he could not see her face due to her rather large mounds on her chest obscuring his view and rising and lowering to go with her breathing. His attention returned to her special spot when he made her shiver violently with the movement of his fingers. He lowered his head back down and quickly found her clit, which he began to suck and stimulate, getting a loud cry from Hamiko. Hamiko's eyes were shut tight as pleasure jolted all throughout her body. She grabbed a fistful of Naruto's hair with both hands, encouraging him to increase his tempo. Naruto-sama, I'm going to come! He didn't hear her, or he didn't care, because he stayed down there and allowed Hamiko to scream his name as she finally let go and coated Naruto's lower face with her juices. Naruto let Hamiko splash his whiskered cheeks and licked what he could from the inside of her thighs as she slowly calmed down. Naruto's head popped up with a grin. Well, your disposition and your pussy have something in common, Hamiko-chan. You're both sweet. Hamiko smiled at her master and grabbed his arms to guide him back on top of her. I'm ready for the real thing, master. She adjusted her legs so that Naruto's pelvis was set right between them. Naruto used the back of his hand to stroke her cheek. You sure? We don't have anything here to keep you from getting pregnant. Oh, it wouldn't bother me in the least if you did get me pregnant, she said cheerfully. But we do have something for that. Hamiko tapped the emerald on the ever-present choker around her throat and made a few hand seals before tapping it again. A rapid series of kanji appeared on it before disappearing. There! Everything's fine. Naruto poked at the choker around her throat. A seal? You put a seal for birth control on the choker? Hamiko nodded. Yes, and many other kinds too. It's a fantastic medium. Such a good birthday gift, master, it's so useful. Naruto lowered his mouth and loudly sucked on Hamiko's right breast, letting go with a loud pop. You're welcome, Hamiko-chan. Now you said you were ready, right? He got an eager nod from the cheerful girl that brought a smile to his face. Naruto adjusted the tip of his penis at her wet entrance before slowly sliding inside. Hamiko bit her lip and moaned softly until Naruto hit a barrier. Virgin, Naruto said lowly. He didn't want to hurt her, but from the look on her face she didn't care too much. Hamiko reached up and stroked Naruto's whisker marks lovingly. Go ahead, Naruto-sama. I trust you completely. I love you. Naruto nodded down at her. I love you too, Hamiko-chan. He kissed her hand and held on to her waist so that he could break her hymen in one motion. With one push forward, he forced Hamiko to cry out in pain. Naruto leaned over and kissed her lips, trying to quiet her whimpers. Hamiko held back tears as Naruto whispered to her soothingly. After a few moments, the searing pain turned into a dull throbbing. Moving around herself a few times to see if everything was okay, Hamiko whispered into Naruto's ear. You can start moving now, master, she said, licking her lips in anticipation now that the pain was subsiding. Having been given the green light, Naruto started to rock his hips slowly back and forth, burying himself further and further into his beautiful attendant with each thrust. With each motion he heard Hamiko moan into his ear and speak his name breathily as she wrapped her legs around his waist to push him deeper. The feeling of being inside of Hamiko stirred something inside of Naruto and prompted him to steadily pick up the pace, drilling in and out of Hamiko as her pants matched his rhythm. Naruto pulled up from Hamiko's grip and freed her legs from around his waist by grabbing her ankles. The cute look of confusion on her face when he held her legs apart by them soon turned into a face twisted in satisfaction as Naruto's speed picked up from the new angle he was using. Naruto was more or less hypnotized into keeping his rhythm by the bouncing of Hamiko's generously gifted breasts. Hamiko turned her head side to side and bit down on one of her fingers as a loud moan escaped her. Naruto wasn't being gentle with her anymore, and she couldn't care less. He was hitting her spot deep inside of her again, and she absolutely loved it. She started putting her own hips into it and moving to meet him, increasing the intensity of the sex even further and getting a low grunt of effort from Naruto. Hamiko felt her vision haze over and started playing with her own nipples to stimulate herself further as she was brought closer and closer to climax. Naruto felt the girl tighten around him, signifying her release. The increased tension from Hamiko's inner walls then proceeded to milk Naruto of his own cum, letting it coat her insides. Naruto let Hamiko's legs relax against his chest as they were both breathing hard from the sex. Despite her exhaustion and the sweat coating her form, Hamiko had a look of complete satiation on her face. "I feel so full, Naruto-sama. Thank you so much," she said in a tired voice. Naruto slowly pulled out of her, relishing in the sound of her moan of disappointment once he freed his cock from inside of her. He could see some of their mixed juices leaking out of her pussy before she closed her legs. Naruto moved up the bed and lay down next to her, planting a soft kiss on her lips. "Don't thank me, Hamiko-chan. I enjoyed it just as much as you did. We'll have to do this again soon." Hamiko sighed in contentment and snuggled up to her blonde master. "Well, you said that I have you all to myself to do whatever I want tomorrow. Right now this is what I want to do the most for the time being. I want more tomorrow." Naruto laughed as he draped the covers over both of their bodies. "Whatever you want, Hamiko-chan." 4 days later, 11 a.m. "Master, wake up. Come on, Naruto-sama, you have to get up." Naruto opened his eyes to see a mop of red hair on his chest and his own body sprawled out on a couch. "What the?" Naruto looked around to see a few bottles of sake on the floor around the couch. "Ugh. What happened?" He looked over at the door to the apartment to find Hamiko standing there with her hands on her hips. "Hamiko-chan?" He felt the person on his chest stir. "Tayuya-chan?" Tayuya looked up at Naruto's face and held her head with a pained look on her face. "Uzumaki. What the hell did we do last night?" Hamiko walked over to the both of them who were still fully clothed, much to Naruto's surprise as he could feel the effects of a hangover. "You, Naruto-sama, and all of Naruto-sama's friends went to a bar last night to celebrate him being done with his probationary status for jounin." Tayuya's eyes widened in remembrance. "Oh yeah?" She looked at Hamiko. "You didn't go?" "I don't like drinking," Hamiko replied with a distasteful look. "I was kind of scared off of it when I saw a few people mix alcohol with experimental fuinjutsu." She shivered in terror. "That's why I locked up all of the notes and supplies last night when you two left the complex. It seemed like the wisest course of action available at the time." Naruto's brain was working in slow motion as it muddled through the leftover brain cells he killed last night. It was him, Tayuya, Sai, all of the rookie teams, all of Team Guy, and a lot of alcohol, mostly because he could afford enough for everyone 10 times over and not even make a dent in his account, so he paid for most of the drinks for everyone. He was generous like that. And in gracious fashion, everyone got smashed, even Sakura, who was the one who was most against it in the first place. Yeah, she loosened right up once she got a few in her. For sure. Even Rock Lee. Once he was good and fully tied up by every dude in the building. Hands and legs, tied together, and he still wound up destroying 2 tables and part of the bar itself with the use of only his head before he finally blacked out, much to everyone's relief. Lee was a mean drunk. Even Sai, though nothing seemed to happen to him. He drank just as much as anyone else, but when it was time to head home he didn't have a waver in his step at all. Damn, Sai could hold his liquor. As if remembering something interesting, Tayuya suddenly pointed at Naruto and smirked. "Ha ha, you made out with the girl with the buns in her hair last night." Naruto raised an eyebrow. He did make out with Tenten. "A lot. You say that like it's a bad thing." A memory then triggered that got him to smirk right back. "I made out with you too, Tayuya-chan, all the way back here apparently." "Yes," Hamiko said plainly as she put 2 glasses down in the kitchen and started fishing through the cabinets for some kind of medicine. "You did. And you probably would have done more if Tayuya-san hadn't passed out on top of you, Naruto-sama." "Ha!" Naruto said to a stunned Tayuya, not stunned because things might have gone further, she was actually kind of disappointed that they didn't, stunned because she passed out first. "You lightweight, you passed out first? I'm still the reigning champ." He looked at himself and saw that he was extremely dirty and disheveled. "I don't know why I look like this from making out though. Were you that rough with me?" Ignoring his question and focusing more on his teasing of her ability to imbibe in the drink, Tayuya poked Naruto in the stomach. "We all don't fucking have demons stuck inside of us that help us process poisons and the effects of alcohol through our systems, you fucking ass. If you didn't have the Kyuubi, I would have put you down." She went back to holding her head. "Cammy, I feel like that fat-ass Jirobo tap danced on my fucking head." Hamiko placed a glass of some orange substance in front of her face. "This should help with feeling in your head right now." Tayuya took it, and she handed the other to Naruto, who quickly drank it down and cringed for a moment. Naruto-sama, there's a message for you to show up at Hokage-sama's office immediately for a mission. So today's finally the day? Naruto groaned, moved Tayuya off of him, and stood up. Damn, is there time for me to at least wash up and change? I smell like a complete drunk right now. Tayuya held the glass of what Himiko gave her in her hand. You are a drunk Uzumaki, you just control yourself better than most. Get it through your head. You do this every time you're home. I don't see how Himiko here is even able to put up with taking care of your ass. So? He said, moving towards the bathroom. I'm taking a shower and changing before I go. Tsunade-bachan is going to be pissed off even if I do show up on time because I smell like booze. So if I'm going to be in trouble no matter what, I might as well smell fresh when I am and give the monster headache time to go away. Kyubi better get to earning his rent. Fuck you Ninjen, I'm not the cure for all that ails you. Kyubi mentally butted into Naruto's conversation vindicatively. You are today. Naruto shot back as he entered the bathroom and flipped the lights on. Tayuya finished downing Hamiko's apparent remedy and cringed like Naruto did at the taste. All she knew was that crap better have worked. Ah hell. I have a mission today too. I might as well go and shower for that too. I would get in with Uzumaki, but that would just end up making us later, Tayuya said with a sheepish grin. Hamiko smiled at Tayuya. I hope you feel better, Tayuya-san. Tayuya let out a grunt of acknowledgement once she reached the front door. Hamiko turned towards the bathroom and called out. Master, I'll help you. You'll take too long otherwise. I think you only have a few minutes to be there anyway. 2 hours later. Naruto stepped into Tsunade's office with a huge grin on his face only to be forced to duck a paperweight thrown at his head. He looked at Tsunade, who still had her arm outstretched from the throw. Brat, there had better be a good reason you're late. Naruto grinned to himself once more before it faded. It would only get him into more trouble. I could tell you the reason and you could get even more pissed off at me, or I could say I'm sorry and it won't happen again and we can drop it. He didn't feel like telling Tsunade that a shower had turned into him having sex with Hamiko for well over an hour and forced him to take another shower lest he smell like Hamiko once he got there and get hit for real. Fine, Tsunade said. We're just waiting on someone else and you can be briefed on what you're doing. You're to work under this person on this assignment. That got his attention. He was a jounin and was supposed to work under this person instead of with this person. A moment later found Jiraiya jumping through the window with a grin. Tsunade-heim! You left the window open for me this time. I knew you cared. Tsunade sighed. Just get on with it, and tell the brat what you two are doing. Naruto looked between the two Sannin. I'm with Aokyofa on this one? Naruto said before shrugging. It sounded good to him. So what's up? What are we getting into this time? Tsunade was listening clearly as she wasn't sure what this one would be all about either. All she knew was that it was to be something of a reconnaissance mission. Jiraiya's face was gravely serious. I've found the base of operations for Akatsuki. Naruto and Tsunade both showed clear shock at what Jiraiya had just said. Tsunade spoke. That's great. Then the reality of it hit her. Wait, why do you two have to go? It's too dangerous, let me send someone else. Jiraiya shook his head. Can't do it, Tsunade-heim. Nothing spoils quicker than information, and you can be sure we won't have a surefire window to enter the village for long. Besides, the only people you have in Konoha good enough to get in are me and the Gaki. You know what I can do, and the brat's proven he can do it by repeatedly sacking Orochimaru's bases right from the heart again and again. Since he was 8, I should add. Naruto glared lightly at the perverted man. You still screwed me over in that one. Who fucking blows up an entire section of the base during a reconnaissance mission? Jiraiya rolled his eyes. Get over it, Gaki. Things are on the up and up now, aren't they? Naruto didn't let it drop. No, you never explained this to me, I want to know. What in Kami's name possessed you into thinking that was a good idea? Jiraiya rubbed the back of his head sheepishly. I wanted to leave with a bang. Naruto palmed his face. The entire point is to make sure no one knows you were there, stupid. Sometimes I forget you're a Sannin, I swear. Jiraiya rapped Naruto on the back of the head. I will break my foot off in your ass, Aokyofa. Jiraiya got into Naruto's face. Come and try it, Gaki. You're still 10 years too soon to even be in my league. Naruto pushed right back. You want to test that out? You feeling froggy, Aro Sennin? I summoned toads, you idiot. Jiraiya cracked back. Are you sure you have the brain power to be a jounin? You seem to be back to your stupid 12-year-old self. The two were stopped by Tsunade's fists neatly depositing them onto the ground. Both of you shut up and be serious. Naruto pulled himself to a seated position. Oh damn, Bachan. But yeah, Aokyofa's right. We can handle this, And besides, who else could you send that actually knew what to look for and could actually pull it off? A frown came to Tsunade's face. I really don't like this, you two. This is a little too close to the hornet's nest, don't you think? Naruto shrugged his shoulders. It's no different than running around Orochimaru and his cronies on eggshells inside of those rat nests he calls hidden villages. But this time I have more room to move about, and I don't think we'll be there for over half a year this time. Jiraiya nodded in agreement. He's right, Tsunade-heim. It'll be a quick in and out to confirm some things, and that will be that. Like the leader of the entire organization. His face turned serious again. Apparently the man's name is Pain. The entire village sees the man as a god of sorts. Naruto scoffed. Sounds like another case of that S-ranked arrogance again. Quiet, Naruto, Jiraiya said. But yes, Tsunade, anyway, we'll be there for a moment to confirm this and that, maybe get some new information or see if they've bolstered their rankings since Supergaki here keeps taking them out one by one. Hey, Naruto said. What about Hidan's head? You've had that for a good month now. Have you gotten anything out of him yet? Tsunade shook her head. He's unbreakable brat. Even Inoichi can't get too far to get anything on the group out of him, and since his head is gone and he's probably in screaming pain every second of his existence, there isn't anything we can do to persuade him any further that way. Fuck, Naruto said. I thought I had something this time. Jiraiya ruffled Naruto's head after standing back up. Well, that's what we're leaving for. Rest assured we're coming back with something big. Count on it. Tsunade looked away from the both of them. Just be careful, you two. Don't get yourselves killed out there. I need you two here. Naruto grinned at her. No worries, Bachan, I can't die yet, right? He pulled her necklace out from his flak jacket. I've still got to prove that little curse of you're wrong, don't I? I'll keep Aokyofu out of trouble, don't you worry. Jiraiya put Naruto in a headlock. Really, you cheeky punk? Don't you worry, Tsunade-heim, I'll keep the kid from biting off more than he can chew. We'll be back before you know it, driving you crazy in no time. Tsunade smiled at both of them. Very well. Naruto Uzumaki, Jiraiya, do you two accept the S-ranked reconnaissance mission to the village of Amegakure no Sado? Jiraiya smirked. Of course. I was the one that suggested it after all. Naruto grinned. You've got it. I'm at your command, Bachan, you know that. Tsunade nodded at both of them. Then proceed with caution. I want both of you coming back from this one, or else I'll drag you two from hell just so I can kill you myself. With that, the two of them left the office through the window as both of them were prone to do. As she watched the two of them walk down the street towards the exit of the village, she couldn't help a feeling of foreboding that crept through her person. Please come back from this. 2 days later, Kusa no Kuni. Naruto and Jiraiya were hitching a ride on an ox cart heading through the country towards Kusagakure. Naruto footed the bill due to Jiraiya not carrying any cash on him, ever apparently, but Naruto was of course still loaded from the bounty on Sasori. He hadn't been able to turn Hidan's head in yet. They would have to hop off sooner or later lest they get too close to the village, be forced to answer some rather unsavory questions, and blow their cover before they even got close to getting started. So Aokyofu, Naruto started. Why are we heading through Kusa no Kuni instead of just heading right through the country Ama is in? We directly border it, so what's with taking the roundabout way? Jiraiya smirked at his godson. Naruto, you should develop a more worldly taste for something other than the women that you care for. He ducked a swing at his head. Though I have to say I am proud of you on that front, you're almost like me in that regard, making ladies swoon worldwide. He ducked another swing. Bite me, I don't make anyone swoon, Naruto growled. But when I went to Odogekure I didn't take the long way and I got in just fine. Jiraiya leaned back in the cart. That's because you didn't know exactly where it was, but the country was well documented. You could afford to go straight to it once you had the exact location, since you had been briefed on the country in general and could aptly sneak around because you knew for the most part what was there. I know because that's how I found it the first time. We don't have that luxury this time around. Can you tell me why? Naruto nodded. Amagecure's supposed to be in the middle of a civil war. It was like that when I was en route. Ama was always supposed to be a dead zone. He always told me no matter what I was doing, no matter how safer it seemed than running back to Konoha, I was never supposed to go into that country, ever. I was supposed to go around and stay the fuck away at all costs. He never told me why though. A civil war shouldn't have been any of my business, right? Naruto asked rhetorically. All I know is that it was the only place Danzo ever told me to stay away from with no exceptions. Jiraiya looked at Naruto as he spoke. The old one-eye gave you some damn good advice, kid. That place is locked down so tight by the guy that runs it that if you bit off a hangnail while you were anywhere in the vicinity, he'd know it and bust you for littering. Sensho no Hanzo, Hanzo of the Salamander, Naruto said. Yeah, I know who it is. It's one of the few people Danzo ever cursed verbally for being a fucking fool in his words. Do you know how hard it is to hear Danzo Gigi curse someone out and not laugh your ass off when you're 8? Jiraiya blocked a snort at thinking of uptight Danzo cursing at or about anything. Why does the old mummy have a problem with Hanzo? Naruto frowned. Before I was born, I guess, Hanzo must have done something stupid that really pissed Danzo Gigi off because I heard him curse him out every day month for one reason or another. Most of the time Danzo wasn't even talking about Hanzo at the time. I called him senile on it like 7 different times. Jiraiya started snickering. I'm glad you think it was so funny. Because I didn't think it was when he would spar with me after I said it. That old son of a bitch can seriously fight. He's really good enough to be Hokage for nothing else than the ability to fight. Jiraiya was skeptical. He's an old geezer with one eye and one good arm, and you were 8 at the oldest. Yeah, I was just an 8-year-old, Naruto said cynically. I was an 8-year-old good enough to fight all of Orochimaru's elites at the same time and live without the conscious use of my Biju. And did I mention the Biju? Yeah, because if you didn't know I have a Biju. Naruto looked up at the progressively cloudy sky. Danzo is most certainly not weak, no way in hell. And if you somehow found a way to beat him, in the end his wily old ass would find a way to take you with him. And that's exactly how he taught me to fight. Naruto raised a fist to the sky that blocked the specks of sunlight peeking through the clouds. Win if you can, lose if you absolutely must, but failure is not an option. Keep your goal in sight. You don't fail. Not en route. No, you finish what you start, and you don't need to survive to complete a mission if it's important enough. Jiraiya looked at the sky as they were nearing the point of crossing over into Ama. They would have to get off soon. It was nearly time to get started. It's been so long since I was last here. He looked over at Naruto, who was still looking at the sky himself. With my first students. Jiraiya spoke. Yeah, kid. That's actually some damn good advice. Oh, make one. Shino had taken to going inside of the Forest of Death every now and then to study the large insect samples that the forest had to offer. The place had interested him when he had first come through in his first Chunin exam, but not only was it a free-for-all deathmatch section of the examination, his team had flown through it so fast he didn't have time to do anything or look at anything, and without a team to watch over him he didn't feel safe heading back in until now. He was a Chunin and had been through it before, so he should have been fine. Shino was currently studying a giant leech that he was very familiar with, as they had been the direct catalyst to his team getting a scroll quickly and easily and getting through the forest so quickly. The forest really wasn't as scary as everyone said it was. He didn't see what the big deal was. Other than the rustling of nearby animals, it was a very peaceful place. There were sounds of far-off conflict between the more violent denizens of the forest, he assumed, but it didn't bother him. It wasn't his problem. Fuck! That was the only indication of warning Shino had before a human-sized blur flew into his general area and obliterated the trunk of a nearby tree with its body. Shino noticed that the leeches had been disturbed and were swiftly fleeing from something, more than likely whatever had just landed in their vicinity. Perturbed by the disruption of his favorite activity, Shino walked over in that area before the figure stood up. God damn it, their teamwork is better now, and since when could they spit their poison out at stuff? Naruto yelled, brandishing his sword wantonly. His body was covered in scuffs and his clothing was splotched with a strange colored blood. I'm making them evolve just by fighting them. I don't know if I should be nervous or if I should publish a journal. Naruto-san? Shino asked as he got closer. What are you doing here? Naruto turned to face him and his face paled. Shino, he said carefully. What are you doing here? No one comes this far in here, except me and Enko-chan, and even she's having second thoughts these days. Shino's hands were placed in his pockets as he looked at Naruto through his sunglasses, his entire body concealed by his clothing. I am here to study the insect life found inside of the forest. The specimens are very interesting. You can't find anything like them anywhere else in the world. Tell me about it, Naruto said with a deadpan face. But seriously, we need to get the hell out of here. If you're here, then I can't leave you by yourself or I might get you killed somehow. He ran over to Shino and started pushing him. Come on, go, go, go. Things were bad enough with just me, now I need to get you out too. Am I aware of the dangers of the forest, Naruto-san? Yes, of course I am. Shino dug his heels into the ground, but Naruto was physically stronger than him by a lot. What exactly is this all about? Oh no, you're not. No, you're fucking not. I'm saying that right now you are not aware of how messed up this place is. I'll tell you more later, but right now we need to get moving, Naruto said. They are smart, they are fast, they are agile, and they are everywhere. Shino cocked his eyebrow and looked over his shoulder. What is everywhere? A hissing noise prompted both of them to turn around and see a group of slowly advancing giant spiders stalking towards them, fangs moving about and dripping venom. "That's what's everywhere," Naruto said, sword out in front and ready for anything. "So how about it, Shino? You ready to get moving, or would you like to stay back and use your insects to help me fight these things for a bit?" Naruto turned his head to Shino behind him. "Shino?" Shino didn't respond. Instead, he simply turned into a mass of Kakachu and flew away faster than any other time Naruto had seen the bugs move. "Mashi Bunshin no Jutsu, Bug Clone Jutsu," Naruto said with a sweat drop. "That was good, I didn't even feel him do the replacement." The hissing of the spiders brought Naruto back to the brevity of the situation. "You still could have stayed back and helped me, asshole," was the last thing Naruto said before he once again found himself locked into a life-or-death struggle with the most devastating denizens of the Forest of Death. It would be a long time before Shino even thought about venturing back to the Forest of Death again. Was he a coward by nature? Of course he wasn't. Was he fucking terrified of normal spiders, let alone the fucking massive, steroid-riddled ones Naruto had haphazardly introduced him to that day? Who wouldn't be? Especially a guy that used insects to do anything battle-oriented. Omake 2. Naruto sat down on the ground in the middle of the sparring ring in the Hyuga clan compound. "Okay, Neji, you're way better than you used to be for sure." Neji himself was taking a long drink of water after their heated spar. "I couldn't let you stay as far ahead of me as you were when we last fought Naruto. But I believe if you weren't afraid of the repercussions of causing property damage, you could have won decisively." Naruto scoffed. "Like I'm really going to pay for destroying half of the buildings surrounding the ring because I wanted to win a spar. You Hyugas have a sparring area in the middle of the compound because you guys don't have any techniques that could wind up taking out half of the area if it misfired. I'm not that subtle in major fights." "Yes, I'm painfully aware of that fact," Neji said with a dry look on his face. "But Byakugan and use of the Juken is a very subtle art, Naruto. Our eyes allow us to see everything clearly and gives us the ability to strike truer than anyone else without the need for widespread mass destruction." Naruto nodded and caught the bottle of water that Neji threw to him. "A nice little Kekkai Genkai, I have to say." He took a sip before putting on a thinking expression. "Hey, you guys can see through pretty much anything, right?" Neji nodded. "Yes, it's how I can see your chakra pathways. We can see through most solid objects and control the intensity of the effect." "Huh?" Naruto stroked his chin. "So that would mean clothes too, right?" Neji blushed at Naruto's implication. "Man, Ero-sennin probably would have killed for some Hyuga eyes at one point, those sound tailor-made for him. But that certainly explains something." Neji put as straight a face on as he could given the nature of the conversation. "What would that be?" Naruto grinned. "It certainly explains one of the reasons Hinata had a crush on me for so long. She could obviously see what I was packing when I was a kid and was thoroughly impressed." Silence reigned between the two jounin for the longest time as business as usual carried on for the multiple other Hyuga clan members walking around the compound, oblivious to the actual conversation going on between their young genius and the village's Jinchuriki. "Hack Kushu, 8 trigrams empty palm." Neji shot off a vacuum shell-type attack at Naruto and sent him flying hard into the wall nearby the sparring ring hard. Naruto slumped to the ground against the wall, rubbing the back of his head. "Damn, why didn't you hit like that during the actual fight?" "Hack Hazangeki, 8 trigrams mountain crusher." Neji got in Naruto's face and launched a harsh wave of chakra from his palm, obliterating the wall behind him and turning it to rubble. He narrowed his Byakugan-activated eyes in anger when he found a smashed-up log where Naruto should have been and turned to the side. "What was that all about, Neji?" Naruto said from nearby where Neji was looking, relatively unscathed. "It was a theory. A theory I can't prove, or could I?" Naruto stroked his chin again before pointing at Neji with a serious look on his face. "Where is your cousin? I can get to the bottom of this right now." "Die!" Neji shouted as he began chasing after Naruto with murder in his eyes, firing off a hack kusha every now and then and missing. "Hold still and die, Naruto!" Naruto laughed maniacally as he and Neji dodged the shell-shocked Hyuga denizens that cleared the way for them as they sprinted through the compound. "Better men than you have tried, Neji! And I'm not paying for any of that, by the way." The two continued the chase until rounding a corner where they stopped abruptly on a dime as if nothing had been happening. The reasoning being that the head of the clan, Hayashi Hyuga, was out for a walk with his 2 daughters Hinata and Hanabi. Neji quickly bowed to cover his tracks over the mayhem they had been causing all over the compound. "Good afternoon, Hayashi-sama, Hinata-sama, Hanabi-sama." "Good afternoon, Neji," the man replied stoically. Damn, did everyone except Hinata have that same dull tone with everything they said? "Good afternoon, Neji Nizan," Hinata said to him. Ah, that was more like it. She did have a rather sweet voice. She blinked once she realized who else was there. Naruto-kun? What are you doing here? Naruto had a straight face as he was simply playing up the tone set by Hayashi and Neji. Oh, I just came here to spar with Neji for a bit. He was seeing me out like a good host. Naruto could feel the low killing intent coming from Neji, who obviously still wanted to take a swing at him as he spoke. Yes. Neji almost growled out. We must be on our way now. With that, the two Konoha Jounin walked past the clan head and the two heiresses and continued on their way. Naruto looked over his shoulder to see Hinata doing the same, looking at each other. Naruto grinned at her, getting her to turn back around abruptly, possibly to hide a blush. Naruto then took advantage of the moment and let his eyes linger on Hinata a bit longer. Stop staring at her or I'll stop your heart right here, right now. Naruto did not do as instructed. Man, I wish I had Byakugan. Omake 3. Kiba was sitting at the bar laughing loudly as he and the others were having fun. Naruto, get off of Tenten and get over here already. You two have been over there for 15 minutes. Naruto forced Tenten off of his lips and tried speaking as she kissed any part of his face she could get to. I think Tenten-chan's had enough. Someone should take her home, and I don't mean me. If I did it, I don't think I'd be able to leave. So? Kiba roared across the bar at the blonde. Sounds good to me. Naruto responded as Tenten finally passed out in his lap. No, I make it a personal bylaw to avoid hooking up with drunk chicks, even ones that are hot and I already know like me. Naruto shakily formed a hand seal and a Kage Bunshin formed in front of him. Take Tenten-chan home, and don't drop her. He looked at the Kage Bunshin swaying on its feet. Great, you're fucking drunk too. I may be drunk, boss, but you're ugly, the clone said, pointing a swaying finger at Naruto. And tomorrow I'll be sober, but you'll still be ugly. The bar started snickering at Naruto and his clone as the original just stared at his creation before dispelling it. Fucking smartass. He formed another one and gave it an order before it could speak. Take Tenten, don't drop her, and shut the hell up. The clone leveled a drunken glare at Naruto before taking Tenten off of his hands and stumbling out the door with the bun-haired Chunin in its arms. Naruto walked over to the others and steadied himself on the bar where Tayuya shoved a small shot in his face. Whoa? Tayuya had a heavy drunk blush on her face. Here, Uzumaki shithead. Drink this, it's called Zamuki, Suzuki, Zansuki. The bartender ran answered for her. Zambuki. Tayuya gestured towards him. Right. Zabunuki. Anyway, drink it. Naruto shrugged and threw it back, smacking his lips at the taste. That's spicier than a motherfucker. Give me some more of that, Rin. Rin did as instructed and watched Naruto throw them back as soon as he was able to put them down. Go Uzumaki! Tayuya shouted. The others gathered around and watched Naruto drink 16 of the shots before he hit the bar with his palm. That's really good. What's it supposed to be? Rin smirked. A shot of whiskey and pure caffeine. Well, whatever it is, Naruto said, having completely ignored Ren. It finished the job, he said, balancing against Tayuya. I'm fucked up. I'm really fucked up. I think I'm done. Take me home, Uzumaki shithead. Tayuya muttered as she draped herself over Naruto's back. And don't take advantage of me, or do. I don't care as long as you get me home. Naruto bid one last inebriated goodbye to everyone in the bar before he and Tayuya slogged home. 1 hour later, 2 a.m. Tayuya was draped across Naruto's chest. You know what we haven't done in a long time, Uzumaki? Tayuya said in a husky voice. Naruto looked extremely wired as his eyes darted around the room and his body was steadily shaking, seemingly unable to stay still. What, Tayuya-chan? What? What is it? Is it fun? Huh? He said in a rapid, slurred voice. It is. I like it, and you seem to like it too. Tayuya smirked and began kissing Naruto, who eagerly kissed back. Tayuya let out a sharp cry of surprise when she felt Naruto spank her but started to moan when she felt Naruto massage where he had struck her. The kiss carried on for 4 minutes, until Naruto realized that Tayuya was unconscious. Fuck, Naruto said to himself as he shifted the redhead to the side of the couch and got up. What the fuck is wrong with me? I know I'm fucked up but I can't pass out. He ran around the couch a few times. I know, some exercise should get the rest out of me. Naruto started doing jumping jacks. 1 hour later, 3 a.m. Fuck, Naruto said to himself. I've done like 1,000,000 goddamn jumping jacks and I still feel fine. What a glorious morning for youth. Naruto ran to his door and went outside to see Guy on a brisk run around Konoha, on his hand. Guy, what are you doing? Huh? Before Guy could respond, Naruto shrugged and jumped to the ground before standing on his own hands. Whatever it is, I'm in too. With that, Naruto started rapidly walking down the street on his hands. Tears sprang from Guy's eyes. I've finally found someone youthful enough to partake in my early morning exercises. If it's a challenge you want, Naruto-kun, it's a challenge you'll get. Explode with the power of youth. Guy yelled before rushing away on his hands to catch up to Naruto. 2 hours later, 5 a.m. Naruto let out a low groan as he limped back into his apartment with scuff marks all over his body and collapsed on the couch next to Tayuya. The girl crawled on top of him and snuggled close to him before both of them broke into a cacophony of snores.